we go.
This. Maybe. Do I not have it? Oh, right. It's not. How do I pronounce your last name, by the way?
You want
Correctly? Yeah. Fair enough.
My last name is Kerkhove, but there are two sounds in there that don't exist in English, so.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, maybe it's like Kirchhoff or Kirchhoff.
No.
But yeah, that one's, I don't know that I can pronounce that.
Okay, so the gist of it is that the CK is just pronounced as a K, and the E at the end is pronounced so Kerkhove, and the R is pronounced like in French, so with the back of your tongue.
Kerkhoff.
Yeah, close enough.
All right, we don't need this. We need this, I suppose.
All right.
And
just so you know, I'm live right now, so.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
let's have a look.
So cool. So here's I don't know if you want to talk on stream about what you want to do first, or do you want me to talk about what I did?
So you've put together a pull request for cursor to allow text cursors to move by words, and now we want to have a look at what you did, how you did it, and how we can do some better testing, and see if maybe we can improve on the functionality. I also want to make sure that we can do this not just for text cursors, but also for text field cursors. And then,
okay. So yeah, I was unaware of the field cursors, so.
Right, so the text field is, so a text cursor is for a single line, and a text field cursor is for multiple lines.
I didn't, yeah, okay, so that, in theory that would work with the same code that I've written, I think, because all it does is check for space characters, and new line counts as a space, so it would skip new lines if they existed. However, like as it's implemented now, I wasn't thinking about new lines, so I didn't really worry
so there are no new lines in a text field cursor. The way a text field cursor works is that it's a non-empty cursor where the middle one is a text cursor and the other ones are just lines of text.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so we'll have to adjust it a little bit, but I think the same premise works.
It'll be a simple lens kind of thing to get there.
So I started with the list cursor.
Yes.
And I added basically two functions. I think it's just called prev until and next until.
Yeah, ideal.
The idea being, I was like, okay, I could implement these as a while, but like what I need to be able to do is move to like the end or beginning of a word. And so this sort of until idea worked better for me. Okay. So it's like I either need to move to the beginning of a word or the end of a word. For like next until.
Okay, so because you chose until and not while, we have to talk about the semantics here, because it looks like this cannot fail, which is a bit strange to me on line 126 and 137. It seems to me that if you have until, then the thing where you stop is actually gonna satisfy the predicate, and if there is no such thing, that seems to me like that should fail. So we want to talk about the semantics first.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I guess my logic was that if you hit the beginning or the end of the cursor, we don't want to fail. We just want to say we're done. So it just goes like it will go until it satisfies the predicate or the end, which I guess is so the semantics are different than the name slightly.
Yeah. Well, then we might just want to write that down a little bit, but that doesn't matter for the PR if you don't mind. Okay, so how did you test this?
I didn't.
Okay.
So this one wasn't tested. Although I think once we talk about the testing for the text cursors, it will be more obvious to maybe how to test this one.
Yeah. Okay. Carry on.
I don't really know how to test this one because I don't know what well, I guess we should look at the tests because maybe that will be more obvious? I don't know.
So in general, when you don't know how to test something, there are two things that you definitely want to do. First is you can always write the property that says if you put something valid in, that you get something valid out, and that will make sure that your code doesn't crash, it doesn't produce undefineds anywhere, and that it generally makes sense, even if you don't have any validity constraints on top of what's already there.
So these are like these produces valids on
Yes.
valids functions.
Yes. And the second thing you can always do is provide some input-output examples, then they're not property tests, and that's also fine, and you'll usually notice from your examples what kind of properties there are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, I can definitely add the. I guess we could just add it right now, but
yeah, let's have a look.
So we need to probably put this in the same order that these are in, I guess.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So we want to find next item probably, and stick these in here.
Yep.
So list cursor prev item, no, prev until.
So it looks like there are about 4 people watching. Well, let's say 3 people watching now. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead. We're currently working together on a pull request that Barry is making for one of my projects.
Okay, so the question will be, what goes here, right?
Yeah,
because
so
this is some
there's-
a to bool function.
There's only one type parameter, so two at symbols don't make sense. Yeah.
Yes.
But you do want to give it an argument, and the question with when passing functions as arguments, you always have this problem of what kind of functions do I want to pass for property testing. In this case, you can just say you can choose a predicate and then use that for the property test. So in this case, a predicate for Boolean could be identity.
Sure.
But you want to put it after the bool type application, otherwise it won't.
Oh,
type
right,
it.
right. Yeah.
Yep. And now what else is wrong? Oh yeah, you need to describe it with it.
Oh, yeah. I completely missed this. So usually, right, produces valid item cursors or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, cursors is fine.
Yep. And this will already be something useful. And you can do the same thing for next until, of course. Yeah. And now one of the properties that I would expect is that if you run this prev until, then when you're done, the thing that is in front of the currently selected thing in between will satisfy the predicate.
Oh, sure. So I was thinking about that this morning when I was just like thinking about the stream generally, and I was like, isn't that what the function does? Or I mean, I guess you could implement the function such that that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So the test is probably good. Okay, so you want to say something like.
One of the good reasons to still write that test is because it forces you to make the decision about whether this function should be able to fail.
I see. Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah. If we write that test, then it can either satisfy the predicate or be empty.
Yeah.
Right. Like those are the two options.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So it produces a cursor where the previous item either satisfies predicate. This is long, but I guess long's better than wrong. All right, so we want to say something like this, and then we can say
This doesn't make sense because produces valids on valids is not an IO action.
oh,
I mean it is, but it doesn't return anything.
so we need an actual thing for. How do we make one of these randomly?
You can use for all valid.
Okay. So then this will be for all valid.
Yeah, and you can
then
draw a cursor.
That will get like a cursor. Do. And then, yeah, this cannot be some result.
Yeah, but it's not an IO action, so you need to let bind it.
Oh, yes, it is not. Do I even need do here?
Nope.
Well, I don't think so.
It might
we can delete it later.
Simple. Yeah. It'll make the should be simpler later.
And then we're going to say list prev result. Since you said should be, I'll just use it.
No, in this case you want to use should satisfy it.
Should satisfy takes an A and a... Yeah, that's right, because it's going to be either...
You can use id.
Id?
Yeah. So this will. So now I think you should still case match on the list cursor prev item, and then only use should satisfy if there is an element in the list, and use pure unit if there isn't. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
Hang on.
So the predicate that we're using in this test is id, right? So you can actually let bind predicate equals id just to make it clearer. And then when you get the results, you want to case match on whether there are elements in this list on the left before you can assert that the element there satisfies the predicate. So if you have just item, then item should satisfy id. Yeah, and you forgot the result in line 68.
60. Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. And now this test forces you to make the decision about what happens in the nothing case.
Right. Well, yeah, how would you even do that?
So now you write nothing goes to pure unit. Because should satisfy is an IO action. This is it.
Oh, right. And this is fine because the nothing in this case would just be the beginning of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, okay, I see.
And now you can, because now you still have id twice, so if you want to change the predicate, then you have to change it in two places, so you can say let predicate equals id.
Oh, I see. Right. Let's do this the right way. Sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying, and then I realized that I have id there.
Yeah. But pred won't work because that's also the predecessor function from enum, so you have to write it out. Voila. This should work. Can you run this? Can you set up a feedback loop? Oh, you have to pass in the cursor to the function on line 69.
Oh, yes. This needs to take the cursor.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's delete this, and then what we want to do is like some sort of, I guess we can just stack test, but I always forget how to select the components, so...
Okay, so it's stack test : cursor dash test, and then file watch.
Cursor tests.
Yeah. No,
dash
no
dash
S.
file.
Yeah, file watch. Yeah. I think you might want to zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just do this and.
Okay. So it looks like it satisfies your property test. You can also select fewer tests to run because now it's going to run all 1,000 tests. And you may want to just, so the way you do that is with -- TA equals -- match equals until, for example. Yeah, and so it's going to look for that substring in the its.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't have those things kinds of the file watch stuff and TA memorized. Yeah. I think what I did last time was like just grabbed somewhere in here it would mention like how to do it.
Yep. And now I think you can copy paste this for the next until as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's important that you copy paste it and not try to factor out something.
And then this becomes prev next.
Yep.
And then, oh, right. So we have the file watch. And then also we can make this a little bit smaller probably.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay,
so
cool.
Now it's tested, and I think it's hard to write out. So the way you know whether it's, when you're done testing, is whether you find it easy or difficult to write code that passes your tests but is still wrong. So an easy way to write code that passes this test but is still wrong is to just always go to the beginning of the list.
True.
But it's good enough in my opinion.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's good. Is there anything inside? I think we were on line like 120. Is there anything in here that looks like cryptic to you?
No, this looks good to me.
Okay.
Oh
good.
Wait, you can remove the argument, the predicate argument on line 123. Because you always use the same predicate with Go, so you can remove that argument and use the context from upper.
So there's a type inference problem, which is why I was doing this.
Okay, so I'll tell you how to solve that when we get to the error.
Okay, sure. So let's remove this.
Yeah, and then remove the prime on line 121.
This becomes Go.
Yeah, perfect. And so now you should get if you save, you'll get an error on the bottom part of your screen.
Like so. And what's this?
Yeah, so that's the error you're talking about. Try and save, then we see it on the bottom part of the screen. So what's happening here is that GHC doesn't know that it thinks that Go on line 123 is for all a list cursor huppledepup. And that's not the case because you're actually referring to the same A as on line 120. And so the way you want to do that is use scope type variables.
Okay, so I think we had this discussion on stream and I was like, okay, we can just avoid turning on any extra things by just passing in the function. And so that was the only reason I did that. But if I wasn't sure what I should turn on and turn off. Yeah. So I just kind of left. Or
wait, before you do that, there is another option. If you go back there, the other thing you can do is delete line 123.
Oh, and just let it figure this out itself.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. So I tend to be in this habit of always adding, okay.
So it depends on whether you want to add scope type variables, which I'm fine with. I actually prefer it. But if you don't want to use that, you can just delete this type declaration.
I think I'm fine deleting the type because we kind of know what it is.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, well, do people know what it is? I don't know.
I'm good with it. It's fine.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so then we can do the same thing here by deleting this. This and that.
Yeah, perfect.
Now the question is, why is this not doing anything?
Because you typed in that screen.
Well, I tried like saving the list spec file and nothing seemed to happen.
Yeah, that's because in the bottom part of your screen, in that window, you typed something, and that means that Stack doesn't do the watching anymore. So then you have to press Enter twice in that screen.
That's weird. Yeah, well, okay, so what I was expecting to have happen is if I did write all, it should write list spec, and then that should run, but it doesn't. If I write, that's very, okay, maybe there's something about tabs that I'm missing.
No idea. I don't really use Vim in that way.
Yeah, anyway, okay, it's fine. I'll just remember that.
I use one Vim tab per window, and I use the tiling window manager, and then use multiple of them, and then set F since recently, which was really nice.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I've been using this terminal for a while, so anyway, just unexpected. Here, I need to shut my door, and actually, let me quickly grab this cup of coffee because I forgot about it before we started.
Go for it.
Give me 2 seconds.
No worries. So, if you're watching this and you have any questions, now is the time to ask questions.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have this done, I guess. So the next thing is to move on to the text cursors.
Yep.
So text. So we're gonna want to open this. We're gonna want to open this, and I think we're gonna want to open potentially this as well at some point.
Yes.
And then let's build the feedback loop again.
Yeah. In the meantime, Trizhniak has just asked what's a cursor. Cursors are a general name for a structure that represents both the entire thing and where you're looking within the thing. So a string cursor would be a zipper, for example. But we're talking about more general cursors, and then the specific ones we're working on right now are list cursors, which is where you're looking between two elements, or text cursor, which is where you're looking between two characters. And in this case, we're implementing a way to jump around in a text cursor between words instead of just between characters. All right, let's have a look.
Yeah, so we have word in here. So that's probably what I should match on for this loop. And then that should give us these.
I remember that you put in the pull request a description of the semantics of these.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Should we put them in the comments as well?
In these tests.
No, not in the tests. In the actual, in the doc types of the. No, that's the wrong word. The doc texts.
We can. Yeah. I truthfully don't know how to do that.
Okay, so you write the first line of your doc there should be dash dash and then vertical stripe.
It goes above, right?
Yep, exactly. And then that's where you describe what happens. Yeah, with a space, or it doesn't actually matter. And then you can add any text you want over there.
Okay.
So the first line is going to look different in the docs than the rest of the lines. So if you want to have something more synced there, then that's where you put it.
Okay, so we'll do...
and the way that we usually denote where the cursor is looking is usually with a vertical dash, because that's the way that list cursor looks, but that doesn't really matter.
So I guess we can just give the example. Mm-hmm. So it's we can do code in here with like ticks and stuff, or
no, with regular quotation marks. Haddock markup is a mess.
Yeah, I've that's one thing that I haven't done much of. So it's probably something I should look into. So, but we really, this is kind of like pseudocode. It's not really
In that case, you
code.
want to put a left. Oh, if it's pseudocode, then go ahead. But if it's actual code, then you can put a left angle bracket to denote that now we're putting code there.
What I was going to do is something like this. Is like equivalent to, I don't know, like that.
I did it wrong. I said vertical. I said dash it, but I meant pipe. So the vertical dash.
I got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So that's what I was thinking. Some sort of pseudo-y code like this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we could do something different if you don't like that.
It's fine by me. I mean, you can also just say give the input-output examples without the pseudocode around it. So you can just say the hello to dash hello or pipe hello. So
can I do tables in here?
Yes, but I have no clue how. I'll look it up.
we could look it up.
I'm having a look already.
Okay. Because then we could do like literal input-output examples, which might be useful.
No, doesn't look like there are tables.
Okay, so
yeah,
I mean, I don't really know what to. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, but it's not. I'll just send you a link.
Sure.
It's not pretty.
I'm not surprised. Based on
we can. I'd prefer if you just have input and then arrow to output.
Whoops. Like input.
Oh yeah, not even that verbose. Just an arrow between the two examples. Yeah. Yeah, that's plenty good enough.
And so this is like a title line or something.
Yeah, so there you say something like move to the beginning of the word. Yeah.
Sure.
And then because the title, the way the word markup works, you need to leave an empty line of comments there. Yes.
Yeah, that's.
And if you want to see that, by the way, on the bottom line of your screen, you can do, you can stop the feedback loop and add -- haddock at the end. And that will build the haddocks for you when the tests pass. So Trijnak says, it reminds me of a zipper structure. Yeah, it is very similar to a zipper structure, except zippers only works for strings, and this works for more general things.
Okay, well, that's building. Let's just start going through this code, because I feel like this code's a little complicated, and each time, like, it took me a while to get it, like, correct.
Yeah.
So the first time I did it, I was like, okay, if I want to go to the beginning of the word, I actually only need to look at the previous character. But the problem is that if you look at the previous character, you get stuck in an infinite loop, because it will look at the previous character, it'll be like, it's a space, and then continue looping. And it like, I couldn't get it to stop correctly if I was only looking at the previous character. So I can't remember the exact test case that I came up with, but I wrote a specific test case because we were talking about it to get it to get into that infinite loop. And then anyway, so I realized that I needed to do both previous char and next character, and then it can just kind of go from there. So this is sort of the meat of the operation, is when you get two characters and they're both spaces or not.
Okay, so wait, can you write out some more examples then on line 118? Because I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Sure. So if we had, let's say, I'm just gonna put arbitrary something like this, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that this, if I just look at the previous character, it will say it's a space. So how would I know I'm at the beginning of a word or not? It wouldn't know.
So in this case, what's the semantics you want? You want to go to the beginning of hello.
Yeah, so what I want to have happen is that. I don't know how many spaces there are here.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Okay, good enough.
2, 3, 4.
Um,
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So that's what I want to have happen. But if you if you just look at the
Yeah,
previous
now I get
word,
it.
you have no way to identify that you're done.
Yeah.
So this thing enters, or this thing prematurely exits instead of what you really want.
And what if you're already at the beginning of a word? Do you want to go to the beginning of the previous word?
No.
Okay, so can you
So-
show me that as well in an example?
Yes. So this, if we were here, we want to. That's not what I wanted to do, but whatever.
Yeah, you can remove the excess spaces as well because it's going to make the example a bit more confusing.
True.
I'm being super pedantic, by the way. No, not there. There, they're important.
Yeah, in here they're
Yeah.
not important. Yeah, you're right.
So I'm being super pedantic, by the way. If you think I'm being overly pedantic,
No.
you should definitely tell me.
There's no reason to not be in that case. We need the spaces above, but not in this case.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that this. So if you're at the beginning of the word, and like if I was a human being and I said, in Vim, right?
Yeah.
Send me to the beginning of the word. I want to end up there. Like
Yeah.
I want to end up here.
Yeah.
If I type it twice, if I want to go to the next word, that should be a different command.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
that was my feeling.
And what if there is no words? What if there's an empty text cursor? Nothing should happen.
Nothing should happen.
Okay,
exactly.
but it shouldn't fail or anything. It shouldn't fail
No.
to reach an empty. Okay, that's definitely also a test we need then.
Yeah. So like if we had this, right?
Yeah.
Then it would just be that. There's
Okay.
no reason to fail, I think, in that case.
Okay, that's fine.
Would you rather these be foo bars or?
I don't care, but you can go ahead if you want, but in this case it just matters that the spaces are in the appropriate places, so it doesn't really, I don't care.
Yeah.
So now that we have these output examples, so you've explained to me this is what I want the function to do. The very first thing we should do is turn these into tests.
Okay.
So that everything that you expect is actually tested.
So we can do that, and I think what I did was.
Oh, and we can actually
Okay.
make a helper function here for making examples, where you just say where you have two strings and make a text cursor that produces this kind of thing with the right, because otherwise you're going to have an entire line with every list cursor and it's going to be hard to read because the previous ones are backwards.
We could also split them by the actual bar, right? That could be a useful. That could be a part of the helper, I suppose. Okay, so yeah, let's just do that first, and then start adding these more specific tests. So I'll just leave the functions I added because I was confused. Like I think that you have a validity test for idempotency, but there was an extra term that I was confused about. Like I think here, or in between these two, there's like a list of something.
Yeah, shrinking. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'll show you that later.
All right, so we need like a build text. Oh, you already have a build text cursor, it looks like.
Yeah, so build text cursor. Oh yeah, that works. So just with two texts to turn it into a text cursor.
Test text cursor.
Yeah.
Something. So it's going to take a. Do we have actual text in here? We do. Okay.
Yeah,
so text to text cursor.
I think you want two texts because otherwise we're going to have to do the parsing of the bar.
Isn't there just a split by?
Yes, but then you get a list, so it's going to be extra confusing.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. It'll just be simpler if it's like this. I agree with you.
So you call them befores and afters, for example?
Yeah, better names. And then it's just what? Text cursor, make text cursor.
Yeah, that's going to get you into trouble. I think constructing it the way you did in the example is going to be the easiest, I think.
Yeah, which is like this.
Yeah. By the way, I'm noticing that I'm dictating what you're writing a lot. If that's annoying, you should tell me, okay?
No, this is fine.
Okay.
I'm doing okay. So when I'm streaming, I tend to just use A and B, right? Because the names don't matter. But like at the end of the month, I need to write more, better more logical code. So I really need to do that.
Okay. So just so you know, I think you're doing great. It's not. I have no complaints. I would have no problem hiring you. I'm being extra pedantic because I'm gonna maintain this.
Yes.
By the way I import text is usually not like this because t.text is an eyesore in my opinion. So what you should do in this case is import data.text twice, once qualified as t and once unqualified where you only import the text type.
Yep. That's usually what I do as well. I think it was just like maybe it wasn't there again, so I was just trying to avoid.
That's okay.
Where? Okay, so it must be.
At the bottom you still have t.text, so that's why this is redundant.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay, now what is this complaining about?
Okay, this is wrong because list cursor priv is a list of characters and not a text. So you need to t.unpack it and then also reverse it.
Yes.
So for the few people who just joined, if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask them in chat and I'll answer them live. We're currently trying to add something to the cursor package. Yeah, I think this is right.
What is this complaining about?
That we haven't used this. Oh, after and before have been defined somewhere. It's a combinator in HSpec, so you can call them befores and afters if you want. So before is something that turns a test suite into a test suite that can expect something, or the other way around rather, and then run a certain action before the tests start running.
Yeah, and then this defined but not used makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wonderful. So that's useful. And then we can refactor this code to make it, really, we probably can just do this inline. There's no reason to pull this out, I think. Well, let's read what it looks like. Build test text. Yeah, I think it's going to get A and then VB.
What's V, by the way?
V is a vertical tab. We can use a regular tab if you prefer. It's just that when I was picking space characters to build cursors from, so you'll see over here I added a few functions. So on 28 here, gen space char will give me either a space, a tab, or a vertical tab. And there's two other space characters, new line and
okay. I've
the
never heard of
/r and I can't remember what the fifth one. There's one more, I think. I think there's 6 of them. If you just look at the source code for is space, it will show you which ones are there.
Okay.
But these are the ones that are non-new line space related characters.
I got it. I had no idea about vertical tab, but yeah, that's fine. I didn't know that.
I've never in my life used a vertical tab, but it is a valid space character that's not a new line character.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
So that's all this does is I create this text cursor sentence generator.
Yeah.
Which basically generates a space character at 10% frequency.
Yeah.
Or 0.1 frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to me.
Okay, so let's go back over here. Do you think that actually putting this inline is all that brutal, or should I pull it out?
It's fine. I like it.
I try not to do too much like this if I don't have to. Okay, so that's just empty, and then this is supposed to be AVB.
Yeah.
And then we can get rid of all of this.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, that's much nicer.
Okay,
so this one I have to get right because, oh wait, not there, here. It's reversed. So this is gonna be build. And then this has to be backwards.
Yeah, so A space
like
B.
that, space C.
Yeah.
And then build text as cursor. A, that one's easy. Space B, space C.
Yeah.
Delete all this. So this one's A, V, B. And I guess I could use more better. I keep writing make build. So this is going to be A, V, B, and empty. These go away. Almost done.
No stress.
A space B space C. Do. A space B space C.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
and then we should make sure that these things pass.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, we have a problem.
Yeah,
Okay, they
looks good.
do.
By the way, have a look at the Haddock output. So the first link of those three you see there, it says updating Haddock index for local packages. The first one, yeah, have a look at that. You can see what your Haddocks look like. And now you go to cursor text. Or cursor, I'm not sure which one. Yeah, cursor text.
Yeah, we were in here. Yep.
Yep.
Hello? There it goes.
Have a look at yours. There it is. So that doesn't look great.
Oh, yeah, so we need to add some spaces here. And
Or I think you can add some, if you add a star in front, then it's going to make a list of examples.
oh, sure.
I think we can do that.
Here, let me move this over here because it's getting confusing. And then we had that here.
Mm-hmm.
I should have just used a sed command. Oh well.
That's okay. You can also use vertical selections in Vim to add
Sure.
stars. Vertical block selections even. Yeah. Now press enter twice on your bottom part of the screen. Yeah, okay. And now have a look in your browser again.
Okay. Refresh.
That looks good to me. You can still
Yeah.
make those code fonted. So
That would be the single ticks.
I think so.
Let's try it. I'll just put one here and
Yeah.
we'll see if it works.
Otherwise,
Right,
it's an @ sign.
Oh, right. I've seen that before. In
So
other
I think
people's
single
code.
ticks is for identifiers and @ is for general monospace.
Okay, let's see what it looks like, I guess. Oh, well, that doesn't do anything.
No, it looks good. It's monospace at least. Oh no, it
Yes,
just
it
added
is.
those. Never mind. Yeah, @ signs then.
That's weird. Anyway, okay. So what we want to do is say, given hello, this.
I think you
This
want to
isn't
do
gonna work.
space quotation becomes space
Yeah,
at
that
quotation.
would be right.
Yeah.
But I
Nice.
wanted a G, and then we want this space, this at space.
Yeah, but it won't do it at the end of the line. You have to do those manually. Nope, then you're gonna have way too many. Ah, okay. Yeah, and now one more on
Oh,
line
except I
118.
missed that one.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. I don't know if that was more work than just doing it by hand, but
That's fine. It's the golfing that matters.
oh right, we did need to. There's probably like a really clever way to do that I would never figure out. Oh yeah,
it looks great.
that's pretty nice. I almost wonder if we could just leave the arrows in the code, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, cool. So that's great. What were we doing next? Okay, so we built these, and then the next thing we wanted to do was actually build these, right? That
Yeah.
was the next plan. So let's do that. We're talking about text cursor begin word. So let's go up here, and then we'll say it'll just be it. I'm just going to write works for now while I'm filling stuff in. And then this should be text cursor begin word, build text cursor, and then let me get rid of this because we're done and I can quickly move back and forth. So it's...
You can copy paste those and then do the...
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Hell. Oh. Text. Nope, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like this, I think. Why is this complaining? Oh, okay, it's just like weird about this haddock issue. So this is hello with, I don't know, 2 spaces and space world. I think that's right. Test will tell me if that's the right number of spaces. It was. Okay. And then nope, that doesn't go there.
It should just work.
Oh yeah, I guess I guess it wouldn't matter. Okay, so in theory, those should be those encoded.
Lovely.
And then we need to come up with probably better names, but
It works for this example, it's fine. Yeah.
hello? I think I pressed the wrong button somewhere. Okay. Yeah, so the I also wrote this is movement idempotent function, I believe, or maybe you wrote it.
I don't know, but it's probably a bad idea. Because you're combining 2 things that are not necessarily... Oh, that should be something like it's an idempotent movement.
Yes.
I see.
So like if you do begin word, it's the same as begin word. If you do end word, it should be the same as end word.
Okay,
and
but
then
why is movement in that name?
I was using movement because I saw movement here.
No. Movement,
but I did not know what this meant.
Okay,
so
the movement means what it says there. It's that if you move something, it rebuilds to the same. So you don't insert or delete anything. So it's not an idempotent movement necessarily. If you delete something, it can still be idempotent. So if you just make that is idempotent, that's fine by me.
Okay.
But then this is not just idempotence. This is also something related to using a different generator.
Yes, that's true.
So what you can make it is idempotent for sentences or something. I mean,
force. Ugh, I don't love that name, but
Yeah, me neither, but I mean, just to make sure that it's not just about idempotence.
and then there should be another one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this thing is this was kind of the I don't even remember what these things exactly are.
Yeah.
But we talked about coverage testing,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to make sure that this was working
Yeah.
with coverage.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So you've made the examples for the begin word. Let's also do the ones for end word.
Sure. So we should just go copy like this whole thing.
Yeah.
And
then we can talk about the code after.
Okay.
Because it's important to write. Once you've got something that you think works, then you write the test, then you fix it if necessary.
So this should take the cursor here.
Yeah.
This should take the cursor here.
Yeah.
This should take the cursor here.
Yes, but that's where you want to have an idempotence.
Yeah, so we need to change these up a little bit.
The first and the second are fine. The third and the fourth, you want to make a bit different. So you want to, yes.
This was this one, and then this was like that.
Yeah, but at the front bar, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Perfect. So then let's turn these into tests as well.
So we need to go. I have lost my place.
You can 92, line 92. You can copy paste and then change.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
I'm just blind. And then we'll put these down here. The first two we just need to change. Well, we need to change all of these to begin, end, and then we need to change this one to and then this one becomes, what does it become? Hello space stays the same, I believe is right. Yep. And then we're at the end of the word. Perfect.
Yeah. Now you have a failing test.
So what did I break? Let's see.
Which one is it? Scroll up a bit. No, not there, the other one.
Oh, here. Oh, there's a few of them.
Yeah, but I want to know which ones. So if you can go to, yeah, so it's the first two of end word.
Oh, right, because I didn't adjust the result. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So they should be in the beginning. Yep.
Those that should fail.
And yeah, those two arguments are the wrong way around. Yep. I think that's right.
Okay.
So at least your code seems to work.
Yeah. I wrote these tests and then removed them for some reason. I don't know why I did that. I should have just left them there. Okay, so yeah, that's doing essentially what we want it to do. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So do we want to talk about the code now?
Yeah. Let's have a look at the code as well.
Okay. So let me make this bigger again. And then we can just start at begin word, and I can just explain it step by step, I suppose. So line 125 here is basically saying we've reached the beginning of the cursor. There's nothing more to process, so just return the text cursor.
Yeah.
That's one of the stopping points. This one says they're both characters, so we need to decide what to do. If they are both spaces, then we need to go to the beginning. Okay, so we're trying to find the beginning of the word. So we need to continue until we find something that's not a space. So that's what this is doing.
Yeah,
it's
that's
saying,
the word.
I'm in the middle of two spaces, go to a word,
Yes.
and then go to the beginning of that word.
Yes. Makes sense.
So that's what that's doing. This one is saying, okay, you've found a not space and a space and a not space, which means you're at the beginning of a word. So just return the cursor.
Yeah.
So another termination condition. And then this one says, in any other case, just keep going until you find a space because you're in the middle of a word or at the end of a word. So you're either in the middle of a word or at the end of the word. So all you need to do is continue until you find the beginning, like the first space.
Yeah.
And that indicates your beginning of word.
Yeah.
In this case, what is the point of this case? So this says we have, okay, so this, I guess, deals with the fact that we could be at the end of the word or at the end of the cursor. So this would just be like nothing, obviously. I guess maybe I should put that in there because I think it means more if it's there.
Yes, that's right.
The underscore is kind of just extraneous, I feel like. So this just says, okay, I'm at the end of the cursor, and either the cursor is completely empty. Wait, no, well, that's not possible here. I don't think that this is possible, but anyway.
Yeah, it's not, but that's fine.
And then if we get the cursor, just recurse, because we can just go to the beginning of the word. And at that point, hopefully we're in a case where we're between two words, or sorry, two characters or two spaces or some other case. So yeah, this just moves you over one and continues.
Okay, so let me see if I can simplify this a bit. If there is a previous character and it is not a space, you always do the same thing, right?
Yes. I believe so.
So line 130 and everything in the third case should be similar.
And the third case.
Oh no, that's not true.
Yeah, the problem is that you have this end cursor issue.
That's okay. So what we can do is instead of case matching on this tuple, you can case match on the prev car first, and then case match on the next car if you need to.
Okay.
So see what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. Let me just leave this here for a second.
Sure.
And then we'll take. Oh, we can just take. No. Let's just start. It's fine. So we're gonna say case text cursor prev. There's too many options. TC of. So this is like nothing TC.
Yes.
And then just previous.
Yes.
Case text.
So wait, if it's you can already if you only need the right side if it's a space, right? If it's not a space, then you just always go to the left.
We can also remove. Oh wait, no. Sorry, say this again.
So it looks to me that if you only need the next car if this is a space, is that right?
True.
No, that's not true because 135 and 139 are not the same. So what's the difference?
I feel like I screwed around with this a lot, and this is what I could make work.
So what's the difference between the case on line 135 and the case on line?
So 135 means you're in the middle of a word. 139 means you're at the end of the cursor.
Okay, so which case is the end of the word?
That's... end of the word never happens because we don't. Well, I guess it encompasses this one. It's 135.
Ah, okay. So because the end of the word is what you find. If you're at the end of the cursor, you're also necessarily at the end. Oh no, you're not necessarily at the end of the word.
Yeah.
But you want to do the same thing, no?
If we're at the end of the cursor or the end of the word?
Yes. What, because you want to go left?
We could. I think. So what this is doing, though, is actually moves the cursor, right?
Which is fine. So we can actually combine
Yeah.
135 and 139 and just now say just P where P is not a space, or where P is a space, and then do the other case.
So yeah, if it's a space.
Yeah, and then make it, so this one write undefined, and then let's do the second case first. So pipe otherwise, no, otherwise it won't find out that this is not redundant. But yeah, you need to do a pipe in front of the otherwise and then indent it a bit.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Because we're guarding on the P. Yeah. So typically when I do that, I just do a second just P or something. Yeah. But I guess this probably looks a little nicer.
Yeah, the reason why you can't do what you just said, I think, is because then it's not clear. Oh no, if you just, never mind. What you said is fine, but it's just more code.
Yes.
I once I wrote a paper about pattern matching these things and checking whether they're exhaustive or not, and that is quite complex. That's why I was thinking about that. Anyway, so in this case, we want to do whatever is on line 138 to 140.
138. Yes, I think so. Right, because if it's... Wait, is that true? I don't think that's true. Okay, so let me think of if I can... Which one of these is a counterexample to that 138 to 140?
So if there is not a space before the pipe, then I am saying you're always going to go left.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm deducing from the code you already have.
Yes, I think you're right. So then we just can stick in... Well, I don't need to write it again.
Yeah.
Why did that not... Probably need to put that like way out there.
You don't use any automatic Vim indenting, right? Or modeling?
I mean, no, not enough. There, like, I really need to practice my Vim. My Vim foo is really crappy right now.
Okay, so the way I set up my Vim is that whenever I save, it runs Ormolu, and that helps this kind of thing. But I've also set up
mine's set up to run for Maloo, which is the problem.
Okay, yeah, no.
So like,
it doesn't matter in this case because we're gonna run Ormolu as part of the pre-commit hooks anyway. So it doesn't matter, but in this case, just you can write it manually, and that's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Does this make sense? So if we are not a space, we want to move left no matter what.
Yeah, that's right.
And if we can't move left, that means we're at the beginning of the cursor and we're done.
Yeah, but that's not never gonna happen because you already checked that there is something to the left.
You're right. Yep. That's already done. So technically, this should never happen again.
Yeah,
okay.
You can even annotate that and just write a comment at the end of line 127 saying should not happen.
This shouldn't happen.
Yeah. Well, if you're feeling really, really lucky, you can also write error and then that in strings, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that lucky. I'm never that lucky. Yeah. Okay, so then in this case, we can say case is space. Oh, well. How do I want to do this?
Now you do if is space. Oh yeah, case text cursor next car.
Next car, TC. Nothing. What does that mean?
Then that's the same as line 134. No, sorry, I'm wrong. That's line 140. So that's the end of the. No, wait a second. If that means you're at the end of the cursor and the thing before it was a space, which means you want to go left.
Yep. So we just
do the same.
Go left.
Yeah.
I probably still have no, I don't have it under my paste buffer.
And I think you might hold before you copy paste that. I think what you've written there is maybe text cursor begin. Sorry, maybe TC text cursor begin word and then that stuff.
Oh yeah, this one. You're right.
So that's maybe TC text cursor begin word.
Maybe TC. This, right?
No, there needs to be something after the TC, and that's text cursor begin word. Yeah.
Yep.
And now
nice.
You can copy paste that.
Why is it doing that? What am I pressing?
No,
I don't even know.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I'm such a doofus. Jeez.
It's really nice to see that I'm not the only one who sucks at Vim.
I'm so bad at it. Ah, man, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, and the thing, like, deleting stuff automatically means also copying things in Vim. That's really cool, but sometimes it's annoying because it means you can't delete stuff while you've already copy-pasted something.
Yep. All right, so this one will be a very... Wait, no, this isn't a TC. This is supposed to be N.
Yes.
Is space N. Otherwise...
Yeah.
And then I'll just stick an undefined here while we're working on this. And then, okay, so this is
if
here.
If both spaces, you also just want to go left, right?
If it's also a space, we just want to go left, yes.
All right, so at this point, because you're doing this 3 times, I would let bind go left equals that stuff before at the beginning.
Let go left, and we'll just stick that in here, and then we want to put a cursor here.
No, just you can do it exactly the way, just without the X, and just use TC because you're.
Oh yeah. Right. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Good call. It's not really necessary.
Yeah.
And then we can say go left.
Yep.
Go left. Go left.
Yep. So now 140 and 130 are not exactly the same, but they'll do the same thing in my experience.
140 and oh yes, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This is like the more specific way of writing go left.
Yeah.
Because it's just like using the list cursor, but it's unnecessary.
Yep.
I think.
Yep, it's going to be less clear to read in any case.
I agree, because they're 2 different things.
Yeah.
And then this is just done,
Yeah.
so we're done.
Okay, and now let's see if this passes the test.
All right, that doesn't work. So save here, and then that should work. We could also just do the enter thing.
Seems to pass
Wonderful.
the test. All right, now the question is, do you find this better code or not?
Yes, I certainly like the go left piece, and I like the maybe piece because it's a lot clearer.
Yeah.
And I like. I do want to add some comments in here.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
But I think that this sounds good. So.
So while you do that, I'm going to use the restroom real quick because you
Sounds
also
good.
need to make the same changes for end word.
Yep.
I'll be back.
Sounds good. So we can delete this now. Oops. Wait, no, that's fine. What did I just do? Okay, cool. So, actually, maybe we don't really need that comment there. I think that's probably okay. Oh yeah, and then we want to add the cursor. Okay, cool. I was thinking that maybe I'm just talking to chat. How's everybody doing, by the way? I don't know how many people are watching because I can't see Sid's dashboard, but hello. Feel free to ask any questions if you're confused. Okay, so we need to rewrite this very similarly. Jeff, so we are working on this project of Sid's called Cursor. So let me put that in the chat for you. It represents like a zipper, but it's a generic zipper for different data types. So right now I'm helping implement the idea of moving through cursors by words, and we're kind of just we're doing like a code review and a test review for the PR I submitted.
Yeah.
That's what we're working on.
Hey Jeff, I know Jeff. He used to work with me.
Nice. So text cursor to text cursor. Okay. All right, so let me get more screen real estate back so I can just look at this and then think about what's going on. All right, so we need a go right function, which is going to be still maybe TC, text cursor, end word, text cursor, select, next, car, TC. In case text cursor next car TC of nothing means we're at the end of the cursor and we are done. So while you're gone, I decided that I don't think this comment's necessary because like I mean maybe it is. I don't know what to write though.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't write
like
it
if
either.
Yeah. Okay, so if we have just P, and now we're sort of interested if things are not spaces, I guess. So either we could keep the same shape as before and just do is space P go right. Is that, so if there's a space, then yeah, you just go right for sure. Otherwise,
Wait, this is not symmetrical.
No, it's not. It's these two cases will be flipped. So if
Why?
Well, maybe I'm wrong. So if we find a space in the next character, we just need to step over it. So
No, that's not true, because it could be that you're in the right spot and then stay. And then you have to stay.
No, you're right.
So
This is probably why I was getting confused, maybe. I think you're right. Because if the previous character is a you're 100% right.
So what I would have done is just copy paste the code from the previous thing, change left to right and next to previous.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I'm gonna screw it up because I kept screwing it up. I've proved that to myself. Okay, so this becomes next.
Yeah.
And this becomes prev.
And the nice thing is that the test will tell you whether you were wrong or not.
And then, what did I wrote TV here, apparently. And then these go lefts become go right.
Yeah.
And what is this complaining about? Oh, right. These are select next.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Let's have a look at the test output.
GDD. Hello? Okay, save this. V.
Oh, sometimes I miss coffee.
Oh, coffee is it's necessary for me, which is probably bad, but
Yep.
such is life.
I'm now more than 10 days coffee free, and the first few days were terrible. The first time I quit coffee, the first 3 days I did nothing else than sleeping.
I was able to successfully replace coffee with tea for a while.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop drinking tea, and then eventually I just started drinking coffee again. So I couldn't do it.
Yep. So what
Too weak.
You have to really do it slowly. So what I did was the first time I quit cold turkey, and that was a bad idea because it's a real physical addiction.
Yeah, you get nasty headaches.
Headaches, but I just slept for days. And what I did now is I went from strong coffee to weaker coffee to weak coffee to black tea to green tea, and now I'm drinking black tea and green tea. And then once my black tea runs out, I'll drink green tea only, and then white tea, and then non-caffeinated tea, and then I'll be completely off it.
That's probably the right process. It just sounds like such a long process.
Oh yeah, it's been taking the last 3 months already, but I know it was a good idea. I'm also off sugar now, which is something I'm really proud of.
That one's arguably easier, but not really, because it's just so easy to eat a lot of sugar.
Yeah, for me it was much more difficult to quit sugar than to quit coffee. But I noticed, because I'm so much better at quitting coffee than at quitting sugar, I used coffee to quit sugar, and now I'm quitting coffee again.
Yeah, replace one bad habit with another, right?
Yeah, but it's less bad because at least coffee doesn't make you fat.
Well, true. 0 calories if you don't put anything in it.
Yeah, exactly. And I drink coffee black anyway, so.
Same. All right, cool. This is fantastic. I think that this is a lot clearer. I like the refactoring we've done.
Yeah. All right. So before we go to the next word stuff, let's have a look at the property tests that you wrote for end word and for begin word. All right. So is idempotent for sentence. All right.
Yep.
Let's have a look at those.
Yep. Yeah. This is kind of the weird one that I was. We were talking about this via chat, I think, and I have no idea if this is really correct. So I did my best.
Okay. So from what I see, the first thing you need to know is that equals greater than is a bad idea.
Okay.
Because it can randomly make your test suites fail if the generator spits out garbage.
Okay.
What it does is it tries to generate something that matches the predicate on the left, and if that doesn't work for enough times, it'll just stop instead of trying over.
That's what I was having issues with the first time I wrote this with the generic generator, because it would never generate a test that passed that predicate.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, there's not enough space characters generated in the random strings.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Okay, so try and remove that part, and put that part in the, sorry, not remove it, move that into the coverage check. The num spaces to there. And then and. Yep, so see if that still passes. If it is, then you could have gotten rid of it anyway.
So it's like, instead of using that, just do the coverage predicates where your sort of non-trivialness and the this is the kind of test I want to build are inside here.
Yes, and so the difference...
I mean, I guess this is still non-trivial, right? This still describes a non-trivial test or something.
Yes, so the difference between the equals greater than and the coverage checking is that coverage checking can still make your tests fail. If you turn on coverage checking, which you should do, by the way, on one line, 194, just before for all, you should write check coverage $.
Check coverage.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
means turning on coverage checking. So what you get without that is just that the test suite logs how many cases were trivial or not. So now it says 85% non-trivial. So it expected 90%, it only got 85%, and it didn't fail because it didn't check the coverage. You only started covering, you only started adding this metadata. So 85% is plenty for me, so you can write cover 50 even if you want. But wait,
how do you pick
wait. First run it, and then you'll see that now the test suite will fail.
How do you pick that number? That was one thing I wasn't sure of.
I don't. As long as it's more than one, I'm usually enough with. It's usually fine for me. You want to take a number where it always happens. Mostly, like randomness can never guarantee you that, but it mostly happens every run because if you don't want a flaky test suite where the coverage is sometimes not met, but it doesn't really matter if half of the tests are thrown away if you run 100 of them anyway.
Sure. Okay, so it's like start with 50, and then if you go below 50, like if all of a sudden you're seeing like 10% coverage, and you're failing, then you need to rethink like this location, well, maybe even your generator.
Exactly.
Right?
What you should actually do, if this is a prerequisite for your test, is to write a generator that always matches this predicate.
Okay.
Which is something else you can do, but that's a separate story.
So I sort of did that because I would have never gotten even 1% coverage if I used the generic test cursor generator.
Yeah. But you still don't have 100, right? So your generator is not ideal. But you should have this coverage checking anyway, just for sanity's sake.
Yes.
So the next thing is I would inline this prop idempotent because this prop underscore thing is old school. And you shouldn't use equals in properties because then you don't get nice error messages.
Okay.
So that equals turns something into a boolean, but what you actually want is an IO action that will give you a nice differential error message. Right?
Okay. So we want to do like do? Well, we're not. I'm not exactly sure how to do that.
Okay, so the way you do that is you put $1 there, and then you write f of x should be f of x.
Oh, just okay. Never mind. I thought this was going to be more complicated.
Nope, that's it.
And then we can get rid of that.
Yeah. And you understand why, right? You know the
yes, yeah. This makes perfect sense.
Okay.
So when you said an IO action to like give you more information, for whatever reason that should be didn't come to mind.
Yeah.
So, but that makes sense. This does make sense.
All right. Okay. So then the other thing that you probably want to look into is you've turned off shrinking. So if you run into a bug, it will give you very long, complicated examples which don't really help you to debug things.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you write a custom generator, you should also write a custom shrinking, or at least use shrinking somehow. So it looks like you don't maintain any invariants with your generator. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so in that case, you can just use the default default shrinking mechanism. So instead of for all, you use for all shrink, and then you use shrink valid as the second argument.
Hello. Shrink.
As the second argument. Shrink valid.
What? It was just there.
Yeah.
I think I'm just not. I don't have enough screen real estate to see it. Oh, and then I guess we can just put a $sign here.
No, for all shrink is behind the generator, not before. The shrink valid needs to go behind the generator. For all shrink takes 2 arguments, not 1.
So
the arguments are switched around.
Oh, behind. I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I got it. Why did?
All right, you need a space? Or you don't need to, but it will be added anyway. Okay, so try that. This should still just pass because you never had a failing test case. But now let's see if you can make one of the tests fail. For idempotence, that is. So that you can see that it does the shrinking.
Okay, so which one are we messing with? We're currently, it doesn't really matter, we just need to do end word, I guess. And we want to make idempotence fail.
So 151, I guess you could also just go right and then you'll have failures. Yeah. I think
will we hit an infinite loop there?
Will we?
We might.
No, because if you're at the end, it'll just do 147.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. It may have been that I was reaching infinite loops because of the way I was using go right. Like the way I was doing go right previously. I'm not sure.
All right.
Let's see.
So now it should see X shrinks. Maybe the shrinks didn't work because it didn't shrink to any cases that mattered, but we'll see.
Oh well, the tests before the idempotence fail. Oh wait, but we should see.
So the idempotence doesn't fail? Strange. All right, so let's have a look at your generator then, because that means your generator may be faulty.
Yeah. Gen for text. I gotta do it the other way. Text. Gen. This one.
Yeah.
T. So
you're making a list cursor with gen uses. So why didn't you just use text cursor with gen? Yeah, use that one.
I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I think we could have just done this and then built a sentence character generator, and then it would have been fine.
Let's do that right now. It's a little refactor.
Get rid of this.
No. You can leave that, but you can remove the implementation.
Sorry. Text cursor with gen sentence.
Yeah. All right. And I think 1.9 may be too generous. You can do 1.5 or 1.4. It'll be fine. It's just so you have a lot of extra spaces. Yeah.
And then we can just see if maybe that fails.
Maybe it is idempotent then. I mean, it's wrong, but it's maybe still idempotent.
That could be true, yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
We can probably try and work out why. So,
yeah, try and make that empty text cursor instead of go right.
That's a good idea. So empty text cursor.
Mm-hmm.
That should break it.
Yeah, because if you just have a go right, then if all the cases are either do nothing or go right, then all of the results are going to be at the end, of course.
Yeah, so that's all we're doing is going to the end of the cursor, right?
Wait, this should have failed, no?
Maybe I didn't save?
No, you did.
How?
Strange. Very strange. Oh no, wait a second. I'm being stupid. Because empty text cursor is gonna, if you put empty text cursor back in, it's gonna be empty text cursor again. So that this is still idempotent.
How do we break this?
Something like make text cursor A, I think. And then you need to select the start of that as well.
Oh, okay. So what is it? Text cursor
no, it's
select.
singleton text cursor maybe Is there such a thing as singleton text cursor?
I'm not sure.
No.
No. I think it's just make text cursor.
Yeah,
oh,
but
but
not-
this creates a maybe.
Yeah, and also then it's at the end of the text, so that would still be idempotent. Anyway, so instead of doing this whole mess, just put TC back and put a false in the test.
Put a false in the test.
Yeah, so at the end of that line, instead of doing that, you can write expectation failure. Or yeah, that works too.
I think this is what you mean, right?
Yeah, I think so. So now it's gonna exercise the shrinking for real.
That's kind of funny. We're just accidentally making idempotent tests.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, so it fails with the empty text cursor, and the empty text cursor is already minimal, so it won't do any shrinking. We are having a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, I think that these functions are pretty tricky to property test, right? I mean, like, it seems like they are, because the normal unit tests, you know, the 4 unit tests we wrote basically give us all 4 cases that we need to test,
Yeah.
and then it's okay.
I have an idea. Can you put the normal test back and then just add an idempotence test for one of the 2 that shouldn't be idempotent?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a much better idea, because the other 2 are not idempotent.
Yeah.
What is it? Next word. And then I'll copy this for this. Next word. At first, I thought that these were actually idempotent, but they are not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do I don't know how to actually go to the bottom of this.
Okay, so you should stop this before your computer crashes.
Yeah, actually, I think it operates in constant memory, so it won't. Even if they infinite loop, they won't break, which is nice.
Ah, okay. What I usually do is run stack with nice, so that when it locks up my computer, at least I can still do stuff.
It's not a bad idea. Does that go
At the start.
Why? I can't even see my cursor at the moment. There we go. I guess it just goes here.
No, just nice stack test.
Oh, I see. Just run it with nice.
Yeah.
Sure. We don't really need this haddock anymore either.
No.
Wait, did I accidentally create an infinite loop? Because I was actually doing... Oh, no, I was doing word. So that's fine.
So I think what it was spending a lot of time on was the shrinking. So at the start of your test suite, you can do... we will write a custom shrinker in a moment, but just so that this will work without looping infinitely, at the beginning of the spec, you can write with max shrinks and then const 100.
Max shrinks. Const 100.
Yeah, so the default maximum amount of shrinking is max bound. So, and I think that's terrible, but that's the way it works in these libraries.
Where does this come from?
Test.hspec.quickcheck.
.quickcheck.
Yeah.
What?
Huh? Oh, it maybe modify max shrinks.
Let's just look at it. It's fine. Oh, wait, no. This isn't gonna work. Max shrink.
Yeah, it's
Modify it. Yep, you had it right. I should have just trusted you. So something like this, I guess.
Yeah, so try it now.
And
now
then-
it should finish.
We'll just leave it nice there, just in case.
So we'll write a custom shrinker in a moment. But,
Okay.
So this still doesn't... Okay. Oh, maybe the shrinking takes a while, so try const 1 instead. And you'll have to kill the stack stuff.
Hopefully I saved it. I think I did.
Yeah.
Now we could have accidentally made an infinite loop somehow. Oh no, I think that we're okay.
Okay, so let's write a custom shrinker. So in the is idempotence for a sentence, so you can remove the const 1, but then we're gonna write our custom shrinker. Yeah, it's modify, sorry.
I think I was just listening to you, even if that wasn't right. And then let's also remove this before I forget. Although I guess it should have done that.
No,
for
don't
me.
save because now it's gonna rerun the tests anyway. Yeah, so you might have to kill stack again.
Right.
Okay.
Here.
Now instead of shrink valid, write shrink sentence, and then go to the generator module. Yeah. And so the only thing that matters in this case is whether something is a character or not. So we can write shrink sentence, which is of type text cursor to text cursor.
Sentence, text cursor to text cursor.
Yeah.
Why can't I spell?
So a shrink, sorry, it's not text cursor to text cursor, it's text cursor to list of text cursors.
Right.
Yeah. And the only thing that we care about for simplicity's sake in this kind of thing is whether something is a space or not. So the first kind of easy version of this that you can write is just turn all of the non-space characters into A and turn all of the space characters, leave all the space characters the way they are.
So basically what I'm doing is going to return a list of like me modifying the original text cursor in different ways. Yes. Such that the shrinker that's in quick check understands like a bunch of A's in a row is the same as an A. Is that kind of idea?
It's the same idea, but you have to. So the example you gave isn't great, and you have to make sure you never shrink to the same value because otherwise you get infinite loops in the shrinker.
Okay.
So you can do filter not equals to TC. Oh yeah, that's a separate. That's t.map, by the way, but we'll get to that. So first, before the list, you have to write filter not equals TC.
Oh, before.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to. If we return the same thing,
and
then
it's also not
a
T filter. It's a list filter.
Right. TC.
Yeah.
And then for now, we can just stick an empty list in here.
Yep. So this will compile and it will work, quote unquote, in the sense that it will finish and it will
run
do your testing, but it won't do any of the shrinking. So try it out.
Okay, so save that. Save this. Down here, we need to run this, so just in case.
I'm being super pedantic, right? If this wasn't you and this wasn't on stream, then I wouldn't have done this with you. Then I wouldn't go so deep to get the PR merged.
No, I'm glad we're doing this because it's the P and T is nice.
Why is it going?
Is that a word? I don't know. Is it really like blowing up my machine? It's not really blowing up my machine. It's just taking a long time.
Yeah, but it's going to run for 4 billion integers, so that doesn't help. Why though? We're using the new shrinker, right?
I think so.
You can probably stop stack because that's not going to finish.
Oh no, maybe we're not.
Exactly.
Because this seems to think that we don't have shrink sentence.
Oh, you need to import the text.gen.
I need to export it.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's not even available.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, fine. Although I suppose at this point you would just import this whole thing.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't worry about that.
I think that's the style. But what's going on here? Why not?
Hey?
I changed this. Shrink sentence.
Try run the stack so I can see what the error message is.
It might be just the LSPs being silly.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, it's in order now.
Okay. Yeah, I just restarted it. So we don't actually get any shrinking, I guess?
Yes, that's right, because you return the empty list. So now let's do some actual shrinking. I don't think we have any shrinking helper functions. Let me check.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll just want to do the map on two sides of the list cursor and then do that ourselves.
Okay. So if we basically I'm going to unpack both sides of the list cursor and then map some function on both of them and reconstruct the cursor.
Yep.
Okay. Which maybe I know how to do that. I'm not sure. Oh, I think I see a function called split. That's no.
No, that's something completely different.
Rebuild. Well, we can't rebuild, right? Because that's not going to work.
No, you can just do it like decompose the constructors.
Oh yeah, okay. That's not what I want to do either.
So you can match on that. You can instead of you can do tc at and then. Oh yeah, that works too.
Oh yeah, I mean if we can just pull this out here, then that's probably easier.
Yeah. Text cursor LC.
Text cursor, and then left.
Whoa, no. You need parentheses and then you can put the list cursor there. Because there's a list cursor inside, not a text, not two things. It's a new type, remember? You need the parentheses before the text cursor. Yes. And now there's an LC inside.
So then we do list cursor.
Yeah.
And then we can do this, right?
I would just use befores and afters there. Use the parentheses.
Sure. Just like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you need to import cursor.list. Yep. And now you can do map go before, map go after, and then put that back into a list cursor and that back into a text cursor. It's yeah.
I'm just trying to decide where to put all of this.
I would just put it in the list.
Okay. So.
And you're welcome to disagree with me on these things, by the way. I'm just telling you what I would do.
Yeah, so I'm trying to comprehend what's going on at the same time because I haven't worked with this in a little while. So we're trying to construct a new text cursor. Yeah. That's the idea.
And that contains a list cursor.
And so we're going to have a list cursor in here.
Yeah.
And then we want to do two things.
Yeah.
We want to map some function.
Go before. Yeah.
On before.
Yeah.
And we want to map some function on after.
Yeah.
And that function is basically a car-to-car function.
Yeah.
Where it takes anything and returns an A. No, it takes
almost. It says it's an X where is space X is X. It's an equal, not an arrow.
Yes. And we should probably write it like that. Maybe. I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't know what Ormolu does in this case. And then this becomes an A.
Nope. This becomes the X. Otherwise, it's A. No, not that kind of. Yeah, that kind of X.
Otherwise, give me a A.
Yes, but it's a character, not a string.
Yes.
And is space comes from data.car. Nice. All right, try and run it now. You should get a nice, a much nicer error message now. And do you understand why the filter the filter not equals TC must be there as well?
Yes, because otherwise the result or the thing you're trying to shrink is in the sort of candidates for shrinking.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's a problem.
Yep. So this error message already shows you a much nicer counterexample. The other thing you can do is map every space to a space. Every space character to the space.
Sure. Yeah, and then that way you don't have to see these V's and T's and stuff.
Exactly.
And then I guess there's probably also some benefit to saying, like, if you have a whole crap ton of A's, to just turn that into a single A.
Yes, but that would be more code than it's worth, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. So we, right. We need to save this.
And now we're going to see a nice counterexample for idempotence for next word.
This is weird. Why is this green?
Oh, that's because
I wonder if there's some accidental escape character in here.
No, that's because there's a space character there that is added. So the red and the green you see, that's a diff.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. All right, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's really nice.
Yep.
Much easier to read anyway.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So then what do? We need to remove this idempotence check for next word because it's not idempotent on purpose.
That's right.
And then what's the next thing? We need to go through and look at the other two functions.
Yep.
And then we're probably in good shape, I guess.
Yeah, I think then then the text field stuff as well.
Oh, right. Okay, so next word, in the case where the cursor was at the beginning of let me just copy these, because then we can just talk to these the examples, I guess.
Yeah.
A little easier, I think. Okay, so in I also didn't change this, so this should be moved to the end of the word. This is moved to the beginning of the next word. So this one will be exactly the same. This one, right, I copied it from there. This one will just move to the beginning of the next word. This one will move here.
Yeah.
And this one will stay the same. So let's see.
So first question, are we sure that this should never fail?
I think so.
Okay.
So I guess, okay, when we say fail, okay, let's pretend we're in Smos.
Yeah.
And we run something like text cursor next word.
Yeah.
And it fails. What does that mean from Smos's standpoint? Don't do anything?
Yes.
Okay. So I think I can't come up with an idea of why it should fail.
Okay. Well,
right?
For example, one of the properties you might think would hold is when you run next word, then it will be at the next word. But if there is no next word, then it's conceivable that you might want it to fail. I agree with you that in this case we probably wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that if you run next word, okay, let's say we had just a ton of spaces, like 100 spaces, and we were at the beginning of that 100 spaces, and we wanted to go try and find the next word. Should that one fail? Maybe that's a good example. Something like this. Should this fail or not? And I don't know the answer to that. Or should it return, this?
I think it should go to the end. And the reason why I think so is because if there is a new line and then a word, then you still want to be at the end of the line.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
So I think this, okay. Good. So I don't think this is a great example anymore. So what we really want to write is something like this.
Yeah.
I think. Is this a good example?
Yeah,
Probably
those two
not.
are the same. Yeah, that one you can delete.
This one can get deleted. This
No.
one can get deleted.
No,
I
that
think.
one was fine because that means you're in the space.
Oh, right. Okay, sure. So I think that these are the three obvious cases.
No, there's one more case you want to have, the one you deleted just now. That one. So you're either before a word in the right place, before a word, you're in the middle of a word, at the end of a word, or you're at the end of the cursor. Those are the four cases.
Yep. Okay, cool. So then we need to add our test cases. Let me get more real estate back, and we will grab these ones. For next word, we'll put them. Oh, right. I made these custom ones, but maybe we'll use the hello world examples instead of the ones that I wrote, just because it's a little more clear, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay, so all of these become begin next, and then we need to go through them. So this one becomes hello, like that. Yes, and then this is the one we've changed. Wait, what did I just do? Oh, I changed the way this works. This becomes this. This one should become this. I need to copy these because I'm getting confused.
I also think you're I'll tell you later.
Okay. So yeah, this is wrong. This should be hello. Okay. And then hello world, hello space world, perfect. And then this one is hello space world becomes the same thing. No, it doesn't. It becomes this. No, it can't become that. I'm doing this backwards. Is this right? What am I doing? No.
Yeah.
I had it right the first time. I'm just like doubting myself. And then I should have copied them from the other place, basically.
No, I think this is better.
And then this is empty, and that becomes this, I think. And what do you think about keeping these? I mean, these encompass the other cases.
You can keep them. Yeah, they're fine.
Okay. So then let's drop these and then see if it actually passes said tests. Seems to. Okay, so then let's go grab this and prev word. So this one becomes this one.
And also the next in the documentation should be previous.
Thank you. Previous.
It's also the end of the previous word.
Thank you. Okay, so that becomes this, and then these just switch sides. And this is supposed to be that, I guess. Well, I guess this can go here too. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Okay.
The end of the, yeah, so that's fine. Okay, grab these. And wait, did I do this backwards? I guess so. So I'm just gonna flip the order of prev and next, so they're the same order. Maybe it's not that important, but
Oh, yeah, that doesn't really matter.
okay. And then we'll put these here. Copy these ones. Almost. No, not those ones. These here. Next becomes prev. And then we just need to adjust these. Okay, so hello becomes this one. We need to hello world. Becomes this. These spaces flip. And oh, and I'm missing a space. Becomes space hello. Think. The test will tell us. Hey Argus, I don't know when that was. What time is it? Oh yeah, we didn't miss it. I like the little fox. I don't know.
Fox? Ah, wow, yes.
Larksa. I don't know who Larksa is offhand,
No,
fortunately. Okay, so I guess I transcribed them correctly because they aren't failing.
Super.
So, and we can get rid of this nonsense. Okay, so in this case, there aren't any, as far as I know, I can't come up with any obvious property tests other than sort of the produces valids on valids thing.
Well, it's a movement, so you can write is movement.
Oh.
Right?
Could you remind me again how movement?
A movement just means that
means?
no characters are inserted or deleted.
Yes, so it is a movement, and in fact, all of these are movements.
Yeah,
then,
that's right.
In that context, so we can add that real quick.
Yep.
So we would paste this, and then you write like, is valid movement or something.
It is a movement.
It is a movement.
Yeah, and you can
And
write
this
is
becomes
movement.
is movement.
Yep, but not the M one.
That one.
Yeah.
And then we can do the same thing for this one.
And now, if you have all these tests, now it becomes seriously difficult to write code that is wrong but passes your tests.
Yeah, this is, I think, now that I understand what this movement means, that's helpful. Word.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So all of those are movements, and then, yeah. So yeah. Okay. So for the prev and next word, they are not idempotent, which we just tried to figure out that shrinking for a little bit. But yeah, they're not idempotent, and I could not think of other property tests for next and prev word that made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. No, that's
So-
fine. And by the way, there is a function, but I don't necessarily recommend using it, that says run this test suite and make sure it fails. So you could say this is not idempotent by saying it is idempotent and then putting that function in front.
Do you think we should do that?
No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
I'm just.
You don't. Yeah.
So in this case, nothing would break if it turns out to be idempotent. But if there is a function which should definitely not, I don't know, return an A or something, then you could definitely make something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to document that something is not idempotent on purpose, then you could do that. But in this case, it's absolutely fine like this.
Yeah. Okay.
So
cool.
Let's commit it like this, and then we can have a look at the text fields as well.
Do we want to quickly look at this code, or have you already
sorry,
looked at
let's
the?
have a look.
Yeah. Just because I think we might be able to do something similar in this case, because there's kind of a lot of this go right kind of business, and we could probably replace these with a similar logic of what we did before.
Yeah. So if there is, so in there is you only need the previous character if there is a next character and it's not a space. So you can do some more simple case matching. So first case match on the next, I would say.
So case text.
Oh, you're
cursor.
one of the people in the stream. I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, I count.
Yeah.
Wait, do I? Because I'm actually only connected through Chatterino.
Nice.
I'm not viewing.
No idea.
Anyway, okay. So if this thing is a next and is a space, we want to do something. Otherwise, we want to do something. We probably also want to define a go right function again. So let's go steal our go right function. And maybe it makes sense to factor out the go right function, but I don't know yet. Probably not that important.
No, it's not.
Okay, so if we're trying to find the next word, if it's a space, then just keep going right.
Yeah, and also the go right shouldn't do end word but next word.
Yes, thank you.
You would have some really mighty difficult time debugging that, I think.
Probably. I think I probably did something like that while I was originally writing these functions, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
Because my brain was exploding. Okay, and then we can do something down here like case text cursor prev care tc of nothing. Okay, so we have to think about what this means. So if it's nothing, then we're at the beginning of the cursor, so we just go right.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, we just do it like this. Might as well not switch syntax.
In that case, you're in the middle of a space, so you just go right. And if a space on the right and a not space on the left, that means you're at the end of a word. So
I think
something is wrong here. Wait. If there is a not space on the right and there is a space on the left, that means you're at the end of a word. No.
And
you're at the beginning of the word. Sorry, you were right. This is okay. I think this is right.
This is right.
Yeah, so let's run it. It's definitely prettier. Oh,
I like this. It's a lot easier to read.
Yeah, you didn't match the nothing case at line 165.
Yes. Yeah, that's our termination case, so it's going to fail for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. That one didn't end up in an infinite loop.
Yep. Okay, so you've got a test failure. I think it's because you switched around the B and the... No, sorry.
So let's see.
Let's have a look at
So we're
those.
supposed to... Next word...
Have a look at the test case instead of this output, because the B and the C are going to be the wrong way around.
It's this one that's... Wait, no. We're on next word.
On line 127. You can write colon and then a line number, and then you jump to it.
Okay, so if we have A space B space C, and we pick next word...
I think the test is right.
The test is right, so our code is wrong.
Okay, so what does our code output?
It says...
It goes all the way to the right.
Yeah, okay, so we're not actually catching the previous character correctly, I think. Oh, it's the other way. It's supposed to be TC, go right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep, because, yeah, that makes sense. Because we want to, if the first one, or the previous character is a space, then we've reached the beginning of the next word.
No, another one failed. This may be a wrong test. Let's have a look.
That is this one? Yes.
So yeah, if you're already at the beginning of the word, then you should continue, right? So this, yeah, this is a bit more complex because what you've written now is idempotent, but that's not what you want.
Yes, you're right. I think I've rewritten one of these previous functions, basically.
Mm-hmm. So
what do we do here?
So you have to check if you're at the right spot right now. You should go to the next word, but you should only do that if you're already at the right spot in the very beginning. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So your code may be entirely correct. Yeah, in fact, I think what you've done there is good enough.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, but I want to... Where does that happen again?
So because you never use any recursion here, you don't run into this trouble.
Yes. And I think that was the whole point, is using recursion is problematic in this case.
Yeah, well, the way you could do that is have a separate go function instead of recursing with the full function, but you don't need to do that. It's going to make things complicated.
What we need is not go right. We need go to next space or go to next not space, right? That's the trick. And I'm using the list cursor functions here to do that.
So I think this is good enough. So on line 166 is entirely what you're doing. It doesn't recurse.
Yes. Yep.
So
I think that, yeah.
Okay. I like it. We can have a look. So this code is good for me. Let's have a look at the text field as well.
Okay, so text field. Yeah. And we want to look at this one probably.
Yeah, so you want to create the four corresponding functions.
Okay, so basically here.
Oh, and I also would probably add select to the names of the functions in the case of text. So it says next word, but you probably want to do select next word.
Okay, I'll do that off stream so that we're not, like, you don't want to watch me rename all that. So
sure.
I'll just do that before I submit it. So text cursor X word to select X word.
Yep.
That's a good call. I like that.
And then we want to create 4 equivalent functions for text fields. And then we have to make a decision whether we want, if you're in a text field, do you want to go to the end of the line or do you want to go across lines to the next word?
So if we're talking about Vim, then it should cross to the next word, right?
Okay. So that's potentially complicated because then you have to recursively go over the next lines or the previous lines, because it could be that there is a line with just spaces, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty miserable, actually.
Yep. So for now, you can make functions that just do it on the same line, and then we can continue from there once we've written some tests. In the meantime, I'm going to use the restroom real quick.
Sure. So prev and next, begin and end. And while he's doing that, I guess I'll just start this renaming process because so begin word becomes select. Well, okay, let's just do percents, right? Because we got to do this in multiple places. Fat fingered that. Select G. And oh my gosh, I can't type. Next word. Select next word. And then okay, so I think this should compile now. All right, what did I break? Select end word. Oh, I see. Okay, so that should fix that. Nope.
Have you noticed how many tests there are for cursor?
Thousands?
Yeah, well, no, it's about 1,000 property tests, so more like...
It's a lot.
Yeah, so about 100,000 in total.
Okay, so we gotta fix this one still. Sorry, I started fixing this because you walked away and
Oh yeah, no problem.
I'm stuck in, I should fix that mode. So test, it's just spec, that's what I'm looking for. Text spec, I believe. And then we need to run that, this, prev word, and next word. And this is complaining, so let's just make sure this worked.
By the way, did you ever have a look at the templates that I launched?
I have not had a chance to read them yet. Oh, I think I broke something. Oh, no, that's perfectly acceptable. Text field should fail because I have not implemented those functions yet.
Yep.
It's on my list of things to do.
I want to talk about your self-management at some point as well, but not necessarily.
We should. Last week I was very lazy because obviously the elections in the U.S. were kind of stressful. But we will. I will be back on track hopefully next week.
Yeah.
Next car. Okay.
My life has been this chronometer. That's not the right word, is it? What's the little musical thing that you use to stay on beat?
A metronome.
Yes, my life has been the metronome meme between being very happy that I'm not in the US and being sad that I'm not in the US.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, there's a whole crap ton of work that needs to be done, but hopefully we can at least move in the right direction now. Okay, so we need begin word, and who knows if that's actually true? Like, well, only time will tell at this point. End word, prev word, and next word, just so this thing compiles.
Yeah, so now add the type signatures, and before you start implementing anything, write the tests.
Okay.
And in this case, because you're just calling the text cursor, the only test I would require is it doesn't crash, so the produces valids on valids thing.
Okay. So we'll start there. Is this the right one? No, this is the actual, this is not the right thing. I want spec, that's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
Text field spec.
Yep.
And then we want to go down to, I shouldn't have closed the other thing either. Next character, and we'll stick this in here. Begin word. Doing a lot of fat fingering right now.
That's okay. You've been doing this for more than 2 hours.
It's certainly different when, like, I'm like letting you drive. It's kind of interesting. I've never really worked this way. Usually, I'm the one driving. Begin and prev next. Okay, what is this complaining about? Oh, because I don't have type signatures, I guess.
Let's make them.
So this will just be what? Text field cursor. And these, maybe we want these to fail.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, just like this is good. Yep, nice.
Okay, so these, let's just restart this because it's getting wonky between these two files as I'm editing them. I'm not sure why that is. I'm wondering if it has to do with the tabs actually, because maybe if I have these like vertically split, this doesn't happen. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but it seems to do something anyway. And then we should see a failing test if we do we want to match now? Cursor and word? Can we do double match?
No, but you can maybe just do, yeah, just word should be fine. And then you'll also run the ones for text, but that's fine.
Sure. I mean, I guess that's not a problem. And then you should get a failure. Perfect, because undefined. Wonderful. Okay.
Yep. And now let's implement them. It should be super simple. Well, the stupid version at least. So you can use the selected L. So replace undefined by text field cursor selected L.
Text field cursor selected L.
And then percent tilde.
Over.
And then...
Oh, maybe over? That's maybe, isn't it?
No, this is just the normal over.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get back into lenses again.
No, I recommend you don't. You just the only things you need to remember are the view, so the caret dot, the percent tilde, and the dot tilde.
I'm guessing these are overs, but just by looking at these, I can just run text cursor begin word,
Yes, that's
select
right.
begin word.
Yes.
And then we can do the same thing for this.
Yep.
Text cursor, text field cursor selected L, over text cursor.
I don't like lenses at all, so I only use them when I write them manually, and I only use them when it's really, really helpful, like in the case of Smos. Because in the case of Smos, you have a forest cursor, which contains a non-empty cursor, which contains 3 cursors, which contains these entry cursors, which contain 6 different cursors, and
yeah, that's a lot of pattern matching. Well, it's really case matching, right? Complicated.
I was actually thinking of writing a generic cursor library where you can have a type family for a generic type family from things to cursors for those things, and you can have an abstract cursor for a sum and a product. That works, but it's useless, so I didn't do it. It's the kind of mental masturbation that the Haskellers like, but I wouldn't spend any time on.
I mean, for now, we can just implement them like this, right?
Exactly, and these are the basic ones anyway.
If it fails, next.
Yeah, so this is good enough for me, especially if this is the way you want to use them in Smos, that's absolutely fine. How about we do this? You commit this. I think we're done, right?
Let's see. Look, I keep doing the wrong thing. I wanted to do this, and then we will save everything and force a rebuild and see if it passes.
Yeah. And then the only things you need to do are run the... Well, let me have a look at the PR.
Yeah. So let me run a full stack test as well.
Yeah, so that's stack test -- pedantic. And you need to clean first as well.
Stack clean. Stack test. What's pedantic?
That means turns on all the warnings and makes all the warnings errors.
Okay. And then I need to format as well and run HLint.
And the way you do that, do you have any Nix installed?
I do have Nix, but I haven't built this with Nix, so it could take a while.
No, you can run Nix shell, and then it'll set up the pre-commit hooks so that when you do commit, it will do it or model for you.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And the CI will make sure that everything is built when you push next.
Does the pre-commit also do HLint for us?
Yes. So it won't let you commit anything that is not HLint clean.
Perfect.
It's nice like that. See? So we have about 700 tests. And they
yeah, we added a bunch too. So Nix shell. I imagine some of this is built.
Yeah, it could still take a moment to build.
This might take a bit of time.
Yeah, let's have a look, because it's still copying stuff. Wait a second.
As long as it doesn't have to build GHC, it should be okay.
Yeah, exactly. For Smos, I actually built 3 versions of GHC as part of the Nix build.
Should I cachix? Because I may have not done a cachix use.
This and do cachix use cursor. Yeah. And
I think I have cachix set up.
You can also use cachix use Smos and validity.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So Smos. Can I do multiple? I don't even know. I'm curious. Oh no, okay, can't do that.
Like it.
Use validity.
Yeah. Try now. Run Nix shell.
Nix shell.
This should go relatively quickly now. Why? Oh, they're
Python.
fetching. Oh well, this works. Okay, so now run pre-commit run -a.
Run -a?
Yeah. Oh,
So
sorry, that's
the-
HLint warnings.
The pre-commit, this is the Python pre-commit,
Yes.
and then you, somewhere in here, you have a pre-commit YAML file that does all the things that you want it to do. Okay, wonderful. That makes sense to me. And then we need to actually go through these things. So let me create a new shell to start working on that.
They're mostly redundant do's in the test suite
Oh,
and written in brackets.
okay, so let's go fix these one by one. Curse. Oh no.
And CI won't let
text.
you merge this if these are not fixed, by the way.
Yeah, it complained last time too. So
Yep.
okay, the second ones are redundant.
Yeah, in all of the 16 cases.
Yeah.
Which button do you use to go back, so to the front of the word?
So it's control left and right.
Ah, okay, that works. Oh, that's also the one.
I'm one of these bad people that don't use HJKL.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I turned those off just so I had to. And then it went quite quickly.
Yeah, I really need to. It's another, like, I'm a bad Vim user. I used to actually care about being good at Vim, and then I kind of stopped.
That's okay. I think the most valuable for me has been macros and vertical selections.
Yeah. Okay, so that's almost done. Actually, it's more than 16, right? Because I have those cases too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Before you run HLint again, make sure you close this file because Ormolo will be run on it again. So when you, yeah, you get the idea.
Well, actually, I have a thing set up that will auto refresh, so I actually don't need to close this.
Oh, nice.
So for Unison, when I'm doing Unison dev, that actually matters.
Oh.
Okay, so let's see what happens. And it shouldn't do anything, I think. But you'll see, like, I don't know if you noticed that, but it happened very quickly that it reloads this.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I believe you.
Okay, so now we're in text field spec. Text field spec, this one.
And you can remove line 11 as well.
So -2, so 136. Redundant do, sure, yes, these are definitely redundant do's. Do.
Have you ever seen Pink Panther's to-do list?
No, I don't think so.
It's a stupid joke, but I love it.
Okay, so what? Didn't Ormolu pass? And then I'm confused. Why would it pass and then fail and then pass?
Whenever it does a change, it fails, but even though nothing went wrong.
Oh, okay. But this actually is running Ormolu, yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So now we're done, I guess.
Yeah.
So we should look at these and just, I guess, quickly just to make sure nothing weird's going on.
Mm-hmm.
These look okay. Do you want me to just turn this into a generic import?
No, usually what I do is import data.car as a car, but not qualified, so that you can do car.isspace. But in this case, I don't care.
Okay. Yeah, so we changed all that, so that all looks okay. This one's sort of a weird change, but
That's okay.
we're just, yeah, so
Yeah,
we
the
remove
fun
that
part
to
is
make it.
you're not going to have any more comments on your merge request because I'm going to just click merge as soon as the CI passes.
Perfect. We removed all this junk. Great. This all looks good. Right, these are Ormolu changes because we didn't run that before.
Yeah, same here, but that's fine.
Some Haddix. This all looks good.
Yep.
Okay, everything looks fine to me.
All right, you can also run nix build ci.nix, or is there a ci.nix? No, just nix built in. So Nick's build should now pass. And you have your cache set up, so this should go relatively quickly. Just the first bound node was from smos.cachex.org, I guess. So this is fine. Now it's getting it from Cursor, so yeah, everything is getting downloaded the way it should. That's great.
I actually need to get your templates because you have all this Nick stuff set up in there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want to have a look right now, it's going to build in for a moment anyway. So it's at template.cssid.eu.
cssid.
Oh man, I'm so happy that you did this wrong because I actually tried to set that up this morning. It looks like it failed though, so I need to redo that. It's without the S. Let me redeploy and see if that worked. Anyway, so yeah, these are the templates. I've got 5 of them. They're super cheap. If you actually click on the Start Building button for any one of them, it'll show you how cheap it is.
What does synchronization server
So you know how for Smos you can have all your files locally, or for Intray you can have all your stuff locally. So a sync server is a server where you can make sure that you can synchronize your things across to the server and to another client.
Okay.
So this is it has a sync server with examples for the 3 cases where you either have something that doesn't get deleted, or something that doesn't get modified, or something that has to support both deletion and modification.
Can I just look at the source here?
Yeah, the sources
okay.
are.
So I can just...
You can have a look as much as you would like.
The piece that I was curious about is what are you using behind the scenes for what am I looking for? I'm looking for this basically.
What are you looking for?
What API is it using?
Oh, it's using Servant.
Servant. Okay. Why do I not see that in here? Am I just blind?
This is stacked. This is not the package.yaml.
You're right.
If you go to the API server directory, then there is a package.yaml in there.
API server. Yeah.
And there you see Servant.
Yeah. Cool.
Ta-da.
So, let's put this in here for the chat.
I just deployed, and now templates.cssid.eu should also work.
Let's find out.
Ta-da.
All right. Hey Sandra. I don't know Sandra. Do you know Sandra?
Yeah, that's my girlfriend.
Oh, hello.
I mean, I assume so. Could be that there's a different Sandra in chat.
Okay, nice. So I guess this worked. It's not clear to me that it didn't work, so that's good.
Yeah, it built, and so you can see the 3 store paths that it built, so it's done. So now you're ready to git add all and then push.
Actually, that's what I want, right? Yeah, this is fine. All right, so good commit message. We can do this. Simplify. No. Add text field cursor word. I don't want to use the term movements. Selections. Commit messages are hard.
That's okay. I'll just merge it anyway.
What do I want to write here? It's like
just word movement is fine.
Refactor, text cursor, simplify, testing.
Yep.
Utilities, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Good enough.
And you see now, whenever you commit in this repository, it's going to run the pre-commit hooks as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to use the right versions because we were using Nix.
and we're in the shell. I need to add something to this. Like clearly, it's not obvious to me. I'm in Nick's shell right now.
Yeah.
So I'll add that as well. I need to do more Nick's. For the new job, I know that I'll be using Nick's more, so it'll become more fluent as I.
Yeah, if
practice.
you have any questions, you're always welcome to ask me because I know something about it. All right, so how about this? If you have some more time, then what I can do is I can press merge as soon as the CI lands, and then I can go over, then I can integrate it into Smos together with you on stream. We have to wait for CI anyway.
Nice. Sorry, could you say it again? I was reading chat. I got distracted. Smos.
I said what
adding these changes to Smos. That's the idea.
Yes, so
right?
we can do that on stream together if you like.
Yep, let's do it.
First, you can go on and look at the templates while we wait for CI, and I'm going to answer chat.
Yeah.
So Nideco just answered. I saw you use the password and password interfaces library. How's the experience you've had with it? I've liked it so far. I don't like the earlier versions per se, just because of some technical details. But the current versions are really good in my experience. They're using best practices. They're using the right hashing libraries. It's all good. I don't like the concept of a dash instances library, but that's also a minor complaint. So yeah, I can recommend using it. I'm also using it for the templates that I've made. So. Oh, I've actually made a mistake in the template CLI. I'm gonna write that down.
Okay, so.
Anything to improve otherwise? Oh, you're the one who bumped it. Let me have a quick look then while you're here.
Do you want me to stop sharing? You can.
No. Go ahead.
You can show your screen if you want.
It's okay. I'm just having a quick look at the library. So you can't send a password over via JSON, and that's probably a good idea in general, but it means that I have to use text as the type for sending over passwords over a JSON API, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. So yeah, we'll see. But no other complaints really. I really like it. And then Maxar will also ask, do you use any semi-standard commit formats for consistency mailing? No, I don't use any commit formats, and I also it's even worse than that because I have a lot of commits with the message or trying again or something like that. No, it's not consistent nor even useful in my case, but I haven't run into much trouble with that so far, which is why I haven't changed it yet. I hope that answered your question. When would you be sending a password over JSON? It's when I have a JSON API for Intray, for example, where if you want to log in, you have to send over your password via JSON. It's over HTTPS, so it's not unsafe, but it is via JSON.
Can I ask you maybe a dumb question?
Sure, but it's not going to be dumb. Tell me.
One thing I find really frustrating about Nix is the amount of like indirection with like this.
Yeah.
Is this just considered like the colloquial way of doing this? Because it drives me insane when I have to like, okay, I went into packages.nix and then it's like, okay, well now I gotta go to nix packages.nix and then it's like, oh, well actually I want to find out what pin version you have. So it's like, oh, okay, here.
I only use indirection when I use the indirection from multiple places, except in this one example that you're looking at right now. So the nix packages.nix is only used in one place, so I should actually put that in the packages.nix. But it's such a standard thing that I just do it the same way.
That's fair. I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world. It's just like when I start reading this stuff, it's like, okay, well.
Okay. So
maybe what I need to think, I don't know.
If you want to know where to start, also always start at default.nix in the top level directory.
Yeah, that's always where I go first. But then it's like immediately you move.
Yes,
right?
and there's a good reason for that, because this packages.nix is something you import from multiple places, also from shell.nix, for example.
Okay.
So there's a good reason for that. And in this case, I made a mistake in the shell.nix because the stripe CLI doesn't have to be there. Yeah, so I'll remove that after the stream.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I think this is just like standard Nix stuff that frustrates me personally, and
Yeah, I get it.
but it's very standard, and like lots of people are doing exactly that. And I think there are good reasons for doing it. I just don't know them, and that always also annoys me. Anyway,
so I just
need to practice more.
I just merged your pull request. So now I'm gonna start sharing my screen if you make me host, and then we can.
I think that you actually are the host. Yes, you are, because I when I left, I had to give it to you, so you can have it.
Share my screen. This one. So.
Oh.
You should see a black screen.
Yep.
Okay.
I do like the Pink Panther joke, by the way.
So I'm pulling here. Maybe I should start doing meme review on stream. So this is the new cursor hash, but actually it looks like. Oh, I merged this into master, so. Oh. Okay. Now, first thing we do is go into the cursor dependency in the stack.yaml for Smos, so this one.
Mm-hmm.
And the hash you see here is a hash for Nix, so we need to change it, otherwise it's going to run into reproducibility problems. So what I'm doing here is I'm changing it into a hash that's definitely going to be wrong, or let's say probabilistically going to be wrong. And then we run Nix build, and then it's going to tell me this is the wrong hash, so I know what to put there. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can do, so now we can think about what needs to change for Smos. The first thing we need to change is the Smos cursor, because let's start with only the header and then we can do contents later. So for that we're going to change the Smos cursor library, so that's stf stack test file watch p for pedantic, Smos cursor test with a colon in front, and this is my feedback loop. I'll put it to the side. And then we're going to cursor header, this one. And now we want to do select previous word, next word, and then begin word and end word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me which kind of bindings you would like for these?
Well, typically when I'm doing this, I would use, I guess, like Control J and K for begin and end, I guess. Is that true? What does Vim do?
I don't know. I don't use these.
Give me a second. Let me goof around in a Vim terminal, because I actually don't know the obvious keywords or the So no.
So, Nidico, did I answer your question about passwords to your satisfaction? I don't know how to say that in English. Because I would probably have said satisfactorily, but that's not a word. Yes, I've been thinking about it. So I think you made the right choice, or it's likely that you've made the right choice, because it makes it difficult to get things wrong, but in my case I had to work around that. Anyway, so
Okay, so Shift W. Okay, so this is Vim, obviously.
yeah,
Shift W would be next word,
yeah.
and W. W is still move forward.
Yeah.
So so it's Shift W and Shift B, I think.
Shift B only works after I press it twice for some reason.
I don't know. Move backward to the beginning of a word. Oh yeah, so that's not right. Anyway, I usually do control left and right. So that's what I press.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to work for me. It prints C's and D's.
I really don't know. I mean, we can just pick something.
Yeah, sure. So now
and it's really actually the control left and right thing I just mentioned technically isn't correct either. Like even for me, that goes to the beginning of the word each time. So we have even more granularity than that because we can go begin and end word and then next word or previous word. So I guess we just have to decide how we want to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't really have anything in mind. Like as long as something's there, I guess that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
Are we using P or B at all?
Well, yes, because those type characters.
Oh, right. So we gotta use like control, I guess. What if we use control in all those characters? I don't know if they're being used for something else in Smos.
I don't think so. We can try it. I mean, they weren't used before.
PNBE. Just to do something.
Yeah, we can use those. I mean, they weren't used before, so they we're not going to break anyone's workflow. Wait. So Nidiko says, like, would a different new type make it easier, which you can then use in JSON but would still show password? Users could make their own just to not have to be the type text, but I'd like to make the library as easy as possible without users being unsafe unintentionally. So I didn't know that there's such a thing as unsafe passwords, the new type. Oh no, you're suggesting making it. That might be a good idea. So what I can do is I can send you the GitHub repository for Intray, the link to that, so that you can have a look at what I've done, and then you can tell me how that's very wrong, etc. So one moment.
I'll send it. I got it.
Yeah, but I want to show the link to the exact type that he wants to change.
Oh, sure.
So this is one of them. How do you turn a GitHub link into something that doesn't change anymore?
Right click on, like select the block, and then right click, and then get permalink.
Aha. It's also a Y, by the way. I just.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even know there were a keyword.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a failing test suite. Now I'm gonna make it not failing.
Yeah, because like technically the ones that you have there are not perma. Oh wait, no, yes they are, because you have the blob. You're good.
So now we have our 4 header cursor functions. Okay?
Header. Could you remind me again what header cursor is?
Yeah, so a header, if you're in a Smos file, if you're in a Smos file, this is the header.
Okay.
These are the contents.
Mm-hmm.
So a header cursor is a cursor that represents this stuff in this here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different from a text cursor because there is an additional validity constraint which says that only header characters are allowed. And there are some characters not allowed in headers. So that's a difference. So it's a new type. Okay, so we've made those. Now the next thing we want to do is make functions to change the small state. All right? And then we want to bind those. So the next thing we're going to do is run a feedback loop on Smos test. And we're going to make actions for entry header here. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So QSA action. There, and now QSA commas. There we go. And the way we implement the undefined is like so. And I didn't think left word is maybe should be previous word, not left word. And then right should be next. And then we can use these again.
Yeah, I guess it's just a consistent, like it works the same, just.
Yeah.
I like the use of the macros that you're doing there. I should practice doing that.
Yeah, I don't even use multiple different registers for macros, just one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then left word is previous word and next word. So I'm gonna run into test failures already because I didn't add them to this list. Or I should at least. Oh no, not yet. I'll show you later why that should happen. So move to the previous word. Move to the next word. The start of a word. And okay, so now we have our actions, and now we want some key bindings for them. That's in default, and it's in the header. Here. No, that's empty. Entry matchers. It's not the entry matchers that we need, it's the header matchers, I think. Yeah, here we are. So, we want modified character. B was for beginning, right?
Sure. We can try that.
Change right to next in action name. Oh, yeah, thank you. And then here I did right, okay. And then E for end. And I should probably call it begin instead of...
Yeah, I guess, again, if we're being super consistent. Or pedantic, I suppose.
Okay, and then next and previous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these might be terrible key bindings, but at least we can test that they work.
Exactly. So as soon as I save this, it should start failing the tests. Because the defaults, if you don't put the actions in this list, then they won't show up in the documentation, and there is a test that makes sure that anything that is bound by default shows up in the documentation.
Okay.
We'll see that in a moment, but something is wrong here. I want the 2 here as well. I want to get these right immediately because otherwise some documentation can become out of date if I change it later.
Mm-hmm.
Aha, here. So the test already failed. Okay, so let's change. So let's add those here. You see, This action was
Mhm.
not found in the all actions list. Move to beginning of word. Now it should pass.
And that's just you're basically just trying to make sure that you don't goof up, like missing documentation.
Correct.
That's
yes.
what that test is doing.
So I have tests for my documentationing. I have tests for my tests. It's hardcore secure. You see, just the Smos thing itself already has 200 tests, but this Smos in total has like, I would say 10,000 tests in total, and that's the property tests counted as one, not as 100.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, so it's more like 1 million tests if you count each property instance, like every example as a test. Now, let's install Smos. And then I should be able to do local bin Smos. That. Okay, and now I'm looking in the header, and now I can do Control N. This works perfectly.
Nice. Yeah. I guess you were doing B, right?
Control E is wrong, I think.
Control.
So P and N work right. B works right. Oops. But if I press E, it goes to the end.
Huh.
So let's have a look if I bound it wrong. Maybe there is an overlapping binding.
I see an E up there, but I don't know if that matters. Oh yeah, there's two bindings.
Yep.
Move to end.
Yep, so that's going to be the trouble.
We could do some shift, like next and N and shift N and B and shift B.
You mean like this?
I don't know. I was thinking that the shift would mean the opposite thing. So like N versus shift N, next word, previous word, and then B and shift B for begin and end.
Oh, so you mean like this?
Yeah. I don't know if these are good ideas. They're just ideas.
Well, we're not breaking anyone's flow, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then we can, I don't know, I'll play around with it and see if I find a keys that I like. I mean, even if these are just what's available, it should be fine.
Control N, Control Shift N. Control Shift N doesn't work anymore. Oh, because Control Shift doesn't work for me. We can do Control Alt.
Sure. Yeah, this is always the problem with these keys, right? Like there's so many bindings available. Like you never know which ones are going to conflict with your other Was the N working correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not intuitive at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed so.
So wait a second. I think the B and E are probably good, except they're conflicting here. The E is conflicting here.
Yeah.
So what do we want to do with that? We can make these.
So what if you use H? Oh, wait, you can't use H and L, right? Because those are meta keys. What if you use Control and the movement keys for Vim?
Oh.
Like H and L are next and previous, and then I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. What? So H and L and next and previous. Those make sense to me.
Yeah, because that seems okay.
Oh, you mean Alt H? No.
I think, what did I say before? W is the one that goes beginning of word. Is that what it was? It doesn't behave exactly like that.
So W goes to the beginning of the next word. So that's this one, right?
Yes.
And then B goes to the beginning of the current
Yeah, that's
word.
not quite the same as Vim, but like maybe that would be close enough.
I'm looking it up. It's not a single key, it's GE.
GE.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's not nice.
I think like we could pretend that W is that function, and that wouldn't be so terrible.
Yeah, but that's not the one that's conflicting, it's the E that's conflicting.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I don't know. Key bindings are tricky.
We can do it with Alt. So, if I understand correctly now, Control...
Should we do all of them with Alt?
Maybe. I'll think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll try it out right now. So, Alt P goes to the previous, Alt N goes to the next, Alt E goes to the end, and Alt P goes to the, Alt E goes to the end, and Alt B goes to the beginning. I think I like this. That's good.
Yeah, at least they're like the same letters.
So bound, Nix build CI. So this will do everything necessary to see if this will work for CI for Smos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of stuff actually. So that also includes casting the ASCII casts for the documentation.
Nice.
Which you will see in a moment. And it builds those into the documentation site automatically. So the documentation for that you see when you see these videos, so I'll show you actually. Docs.smos.online. Here you see this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is up to date with the version of Smos that this documentation site was built with. Oh, Nidiko, I think I may have sent you the wrong thing. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it looks like you're right. Where did I use password then? Wait a second. It's in template API server that I use that. I'm so sorry. I led you astray. Fullbar API. We're waiting for this build anyways. But this version still uses the old version of password as well. So, and the reason for that is just the LTS that it's built with. Anyway, so yeah, this also runs Ormolu and HLint and everything on all of Smos, and it also builds it statically as well, so that you can have static executables for Smos. So now the release page contains static builds for Smos, so that if anyone wants to try it, they can just download that zip file and run the binaries as is. But it doesn't work on
I'm gonna
Mac.
have to read through.
Yep.
I'll have to read through that stuff.
Yep. It's
because it would be
complex
nice to have that.
Yeah.
I don't have any projects that need that yet, but if I keep working on the overlay stuff, I might want that.
Yeah, maybe you do. It's complex though, so don't bother with it if you can't be bothered. Okay, so now we've built that in. So build in the word-based movements from the new cursor version. Oh, and also it rebuilt everything that's a reverse dependency of cursor as well. Okay, so now let's do the same thing but for the contents as well. And I don't think we have to bother with the other ones. Select previous word, select next word, begin word and end word. I had an interesting idea for the self-management training. In order to show how Smos works, I find that it's usually very boring to show something like that. So I was thinking maybe I can play a game like Factorio or something and then deal with whatever needs to happen in the game as if it was work and then deal with that in the proper self-management way.
I saw that tweet and I thought that would be like a really interesting way because I think a big thing for me is like I want to see your workflow because I think that it would help like teach me how to do it right because I still feel like sometimes when I'm doing this I'm doing it like a to-do list and it's like I can't seem to get that out of my head and that's not, or I sit down and I'm just like, okay, I'll figure out how to do this and then write it in Smos, but that's again not the way I'm supposed to do that. So it can be tricky sometimes to get the workflow right, I guess. Yeah,
definitely. I just don't know how many people would be interested in seeing like the very weird intersection of people that are interested in self-management and people that are interested in gaming. So who knows?
Yeah. You're taking two small groups and making it smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Could be disastrous.
But if you think of it as like this is something that I'm going to use to inform people's usage of Smos, then I guess it's a larger group, right? Because you're just using it as a tool to teach people workflow management.
Yeah.
Right. Factorio is not, it's not meant to be you playing Factorio, although you get to play Factorio.
Yeah. I mean, I will play Factorio without unapologetically anyway, so that's not the issue.
Yeah, I think Jappy told me I should really check that game out.
No, you should really not. It's also called Cracktorio for a reason. I mean, it's great, but it's like heroin. You should really watch out with it. I lost many a night, and I even almost failed my mathematics exams because of that game.
Cracktorio. I really like games like that, but the fact like that is one game that doesn't like end, right? There's no clear end point.
There is a clear end point, but you can keep going, and there's nothing to prevent you from doing that.
I see. I like puzzle games. Like I think it's kind of like a puzzly game. But yeah, if it doesn't have like a very clear endpoint, it can be problematic.
Have you ever played Feed the Beast style Minecraft?
No.
Okay, yeah, then
I don't know what that means. I don't really like playing Minecraft personally.
No, that's okay. It's just that like Factorio is yak shaving the game, and depends whether you like that. And usually programmers like it because it's the fun part of programming without all the nasty parts like managers. And I say that as a manager, so.
So like the style of games that I really like are like Limbo, if you've ever played Limbo, or what's the other game from that same people? Inside, because they're like small puzzles and it ends.
Okay, then you probably will enjoy Baba Is You. This factorial explanation is amazing. Thanks. Okay, so I added the piece where the contents cursor can now do these things. So now let's add that to the Smos bindings as well. So first we need to make those actions again. I haven't played Baba Is You yet, but I know that the concept of it is genius. I work with some people who do game dev, and I play games with people who do game dev, and yeah, they tend to have amazing recommendations. I don't know if it's a good idea to start do gaming on stream. We'll see.
For me, like if I was to do gaming, I would want to have a separate channel because I don't want to put in our the programming Discord that we have, the game stuff. Like it's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
I think some people have hybrid channels where they do both, and
yeah.
It works for some people.
Yep, exactly. But then also I know that quite a few. I know some people that watch the stream just for the programming that don't care about self-management. So maybe I'd have to make an exploding amount of channels if I were to do all of those things separately.
That's true.
Although watching Smos development if you don't care about self-management is a bit masochistic, I guess.
It's possible.
Move to... did I do that wrong? To the end of the word. Was this right? Yeah, no. It's end word.
Ugh.
We're almost there.
Allergies are going nuts all of a sudden.
What are you allergic to?
I don't know. I've never actually gotten tested.
Oh, okay.
Just occasionally I'll just start sneezing.
Okay. Well, at least now you get to wear masks.
That's true. It helps. Well, I also have the, what is it called? The sunlight gene, where if you walk out into the sun, you just sneeze. Photo optic something.
Is it when you look at the sun or when you are just
like when you walk outside for the first time and you're exposed to sunlight, you just start to sneeze. I think it's called the photo optic reflex or something. Hang on, let me see if I can. Photic sneeze reflex. I only found out it was like a hereditary thing because my cousin and I walked out into the sun and we did the exact same thing.
That's funny.
And we were like, "Do you always do that?" And he was like, "Yes."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Nidiko is saying the same thing. Yep.
All right, so contents matchers. Here we have to add the same things.
How does that one work?
That's the vertical block selection. So you can select stuff like this. Control V.
Yep. So I know the vertical block selection, but how did you get it to replace?
So here, Control V. So you select the thing, and then you do C as in replace word.
Ah, okay. I get it.
And you can also do R to replace like R and then tilde.
Oh, sure.
So if you want to add spaces, for example.
That's great. I need to mess with that a little more.
Yeah, those are the most important ones. Like if you want to comment something out, you can just do Control V here and then I dash dash.
Mm-hmm.
There are probably better ways to do that if your Vim is aware of what thing you're writing. But
so I have this book. It's like, what is it called? Hang on, let me find it.
Yep, seems to work.
So the book is just called Practical Vim, and what I was thinking that I should do is create something like an application where it encodes everything from practical Vim so that you can practice it as like a flashcard or something, and then it would just give you examples to mess with, so that you can work on your Vim foo and remove the stuff that you feel fluent in and add stuff if you need to
Yeah, that's
practice
really
more.
cool. Have you seen my my flashcard application?
Yes, I was wondering if I could use that to do something like this actually.
Yeah,
Because we
it
were
would fit
talking
in
about this
perfectly.
previously. Because it's like, what did you had what's the fancy term that you're using for that? Like recurrent.
Oh, spaced
or-
repetition.
Yes, space repetition.
Yeah, so let me show you
Because that's
this real
basically
quick.
what you need.
So the way this works, I'm studying German and linguistics with it right now. I've got a lot of stuff to study still. Anyway, so I press enter, or let's say D, to look at my decks, and then C to look at the cards. So I got some here, German personal pronouns. And so every card is hashed and has an identifier, and this identifier is used to refer to it in the repetition data. So anything that you can hash, you can study. So if you have an exercise for Vim and you can somehow hash it, then it can be turned into something you can repeat.
Interesting.
And then if you press, if you're in the cards overview and you press enter, then you can start studying referable German personal pronouns. Third person singular, female, genitive is ihr. Oh, wrong. Okay, so now I press I, and then it keeps going.
Oh, nice. I wonder if there's a way I could extend this to also include like embed Vim in. Can you embed Vim into a brick application?
Yeah, you definitely can. So let's have a look at the docs, and I'll show you immediately how that works. But first, Nideco says.
I have no idea when I'll have time to work on this, but
That's okay.
The idea seems interesting to me.
Yeah. So
It's got to go in
Nideco
my
says,
someday maybe.
The illegal instances have custom type errors that explain that you shouldn't use plain text password over JSON and basically to use text. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to, for example, in your code, make the data type login form username A so that you can log in from text when sending it with JSON. But oh, you mean password A, not username A. I see. I'll think about it. Anyway, so there's this next type, which is either continue or stop, but then there's a third option, which is suspend and resume. And this is where you can run Vim.
Okay.
So this suspends the drawing and then do something that produces the next state, which is in your case Vim, and then keep going. But that means you don't get any events from Vim, so you can only get the exit code, for example.
Yeah, so like you would have to just let them practice and then Control Z Q or whatever when they close, or Shift Z Q when they close Vim, and then resume the brick application. So they could like practice for a little bit and then come back to the brick application.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that could work, I think.
That actually works for more general things than just Vim. You can just say, here, run this external process as part of studying, and then I decide whether it was good or not.
Yeah.
Because what happens, there are multiple different kinds of cards as well. So I'm studying German, but there are some German decks. Oh, it's also, the UI loads lazily. Not lazily, but the UI works while it's loading, which is a new thing I've been working on. Anyway, so these are, what I just showed you are just the front-back cards, but these ones are different in that you have to write the thing in magenta. So if I study this, you get to type this part.
Ah.
So
okay, so I could like record the keystrokes that people did to convert one thing into another, and then say whether you did it right or not.
Yeah, but you can't record the keystrokes when you're leaving it to Vim.
Well, that's what I mean. I was saying, let's just stay in here, and I'll show people the begin and end states, and then they can type keys, and if it works or not.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how.
That's a bit. Yeah, you can do
that. It would be tricky.
Yeah, because also if you do a letter and then backspace, it's the same as not doing anything. So it's not even. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
So in this case, you write something, and as long as you don't get it correct, you can either say I didn't get it or I want to see the results, and if you get it correct, then you get to choose whether it was hard, easy, or good.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case it was, oops, wrong button, Alt, Alt G, good. And these things
Do you
are
have other
defined
decks for
declaratively.
these available?
Sorry?
Are people making decks for these?
I just made this application, so it's probably not very much used yet. So let's show you personal pronouns. So this is what the decks look like. They're just YAML files that declare these cards. And this is what the fill exercises look like. So it's underlined. That means you have to fill it in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. So Nidico says you can use this. Yeah, but the thing is, this login form really only comes from the API. It's not used anywhere else. So I always use text instead of the A that you have there. So something is wrong here. This is not a test that should start failing. We'll see what happens if I run this again. Anyway, so let's have a look at the site for spaced repetition, or the repository here. So this is the example, right? You write your cards, you point your application to it, and then you just do the studying. And here is a nice ASCII cast if you want to see what that looks like. This is also automated, by the way.
I need to do this for Spanish.
Yep. So I don't know if people are writing cards for this, but yeah, I definitely am. There's some examples as well. So French uses 3 definite articles. German has 12.
The other thing is, because I speak English, I don't know any of these terms because English people are terrible at actual linguistics or language in general.
Oh yeah, I also don't. I also only know them because I'm learning this stuff, and I like linguistics. So Nidico says, okay, so you're saying password does not allow to JSON is fine for you, or was there anything? So yeah, that's fine for me. Like I said, it's fine that it doesn't allow me to put stuff into JSON, but that's something I had to work around because otherwise I would have said login password of type password. So yeah, I've been studying linguistics a bit, or let's say some parts of linguistics, and one of the things I've been studying was the IPA. So I'm learning to pronounce, for example, oh, that's another kind of card I want to show you as well. So there are these ways of pronouncing things, like a nasal consonant is one that where the sound is made by air escaping only through your nose. As an example, right? And then I also want to study all of the consonants, so you have for each consonant a sound, which is a file that can be played by its backup, and then a glyph, which is what it's written like, and then the name as well. And because this is a multi-sided card, each combination of 2 sides will be generated as something you can study.
Oh, so sound to glyph, glyph to sound,
exactly.
Name to glyph, etc.
Yep.
Nice.
So this declarative, the declarative nature of these cards opens a lot of doors. Really, the fact that if it's something that you can hash, then you can study it. That's brilliant, in my opinion. Okay, so something is not compiling here. What's wrong? I can't see the error message, so let's do nix build default. Aha, so the agenda cast failed for some reason. Sometimes this is flaky and I'm not sure what to do about it. Nidico says, interesting, I also like linguistics, but I never studied it. I did study Japanese. Yeah, linguistics is really interesting, especially if you're interested in programming languages. Apparently, being good with languages is much more predictive for how good you'll be at programming than whether you're good at mathematics. But it's hard to get into. It's really hard to figure out where to start. And this shouldn't be surprising to me, but linguistics people have words for everything. There are so many words that I had never heard about, especially when I was studying these consonants, right? So if you look up the International Phonetic Alphabet, here. this chart, right? This is not even the full charts. These are just the pulmonic consonants with some audio stuff. They know all of
Oh
these
my
words,
goodness.
right? And they mean something, all of these words.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I always think it's really interesting that like a lot of the languages on TV are like the made up languages are actual fleshed out, fully pronounceable and speakable. Like
Yep.
that blows my mind.
Yep.
Like people speak Dothraki at each other.
Yeah. I met someone
Like-
when I was working at Google. I met this guy who did a PhD in linguistics, and he was fluent in Klingon.
Yeah, I think Klingon is even that's more popular. Like there are
Yeah.
people in the world who will go to conferences and speak Klingon at each other, and that's wild. Like
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Do you know the story about this one guy there was this one guy who made a language which is both maximally precise and maximally concise?
I don't know that one.
This guy. So it's a language that it's you cannot be ambiguous in this language. Everything is precise, and it's also very short. So for example, where is it? There was an example. This sentence, it's quite short, right? But in English, this would be phrased as, on the contrary, I think it may turn out that this rugged mountain range trails off at some point. And it uses 65 phonemes for just the consonants, which means that no one in the world can pronounce everything correctly in this language, because there are just no languages with that many consonants. Anyway, so this is a brilliant story, because this guy was... there's a brilliant article here, Utopian for Beginners. This is my all-time favorite article ever, where this guy went to a conference where people started learning his language, and is it supposed to be written? It's supposed to be written and read. No, you can speak it as well. So there is this hypothesis in linguistics, which is the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, which says that the languages that you understand and speak determine which kind of things you'll be able to think. And there was apparently this group of people that organized a conference to study this language that this man created, just because it was so concise and unambiguous that the hypothesis is that you would be able to think clearer when you study this language. And this guy that made the language, he knew this, and so he was really happy that people were actually studying his language. And then he went to this conference, and it turns out that this was some sort of some far-right extreme Ukrainian terrorist group that were studying this because they wanted to be some sort of uber-Slavic people that would be able to speak this language. And since then, he hadn't come outside anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's beautiful.
All right, so it built.
Yeah. So
some goofy is going on with the ASCII casts, you're saying?
yeah,
Basically?
there was sometimes some things are flaky and I don't know why. But yeah, so it built. It's now being checked on CI as well. So you've officially added a feature to Smos.
Woo! We did it. Very cool. That was super fun, actually. Like working on the cursor stuff. I feel like the cursors are pretty intuitive. It was just like getting that recursiveness correct, and also realizing that next word and prev word should not be recursive.
Yeah.
I think that took a little while.
Yep.
But,
yeah, it's not easy. So this is now, so it built on CI. Oh, this is just the pre-commit hooks. Anyway, so this is building all of the different ones. So if you want to use this, you point your Smos report to the latest development, and then you can do stack install and you have the newest version.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Lideco says, oh well, I'm off to make dinner. You guys have fun. Yeah, we're almost done as well. Thank you for stopping by.
See ya.
Okay, so I really loved having someone else on the stream to talk to. It's much nicer than just talking to myself, I think.
Yeah, because we had a clear thing to do, I think that was really helpful. Like the previous time where I hopped on your stream, like I didn't really know what you were doing at all, so I was kind of just there making random useless comments.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe wasn't as helpful. Like you had somebody to talk to, which I suppose is helpful, but having a plan, I think, was cool, and just being able to work together was fun. So we should definitely do this more.
Yeah, definitely. If you have any ideas for things to add, then be sure to tell me. Let me have a quick look. I mean, there are plenty of things that you could be working on here, but it depends on whether you want to do the small stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a self-management thing that we should talk about, but I'm not sure if it's a good fit for stream because there might be some private data in it.
Yeah, I don't want to show my Smos files on stream, I don't think.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I guess I could show the stream related ones, but the like my work related ones, I suppose, don't make sense to show on stream.
That doesn't make sense. All right, then I think we're done for today.
Yep, I think so.
Let me have there's one thing I wanted to change in the command line interface template here. There was this shell.nix has a template CLI here, a stripe CLI that we don't actually need. So I'm gonna remove that. See if it still works. All right. Okay. Voilà. So if anyone, including you, Barry, is interested in my templates, there is template.cssit.eu, and you can have a look at the templates right there. And if you click on one of these, so start building, you get these sliders that will tell you whether it's worth buying. So if you get paid 50 francs an hour, which is like dollars, and it takes you 4 hours to write this thing, and it's going to take you half an hour to get started, then you're saving yourself 160 francs.
That's clever.
And these sliders made me think that I'm probably selling these for too cheap. Because if
you might be. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because if this was 30 francs instead of 15, then you would still be saving yourself 145 francs.
Are these written? Okay, so when you purchase these things, do you get a stack template or just the? Is there a tool to replace all the names and stuff?
Yeah. So if you click on source, and then it says instructions, there's template filler.
Okay.
And so this template filler will replace all the casings of foobar with whatever you want. So both in the files and also in the file paths. So foo/bar will be replaced by whatever you use.
Great. I think that's good.
So for each of these templates there is a very detailed instruction. So for the sync server, for example, this is a 3,000 line template, by the way. There is massive amounts of documentation, graphs, and there's an example for each kind of different thing that you could be syncing, and then there are workflow examples for, let's say you want to add an endpoint to the API, or let's say you want to add a command to the command line tool, or if you want something new to sync, then it's explained exactly how to do that.
Cool.
So the idea is really that you should be able to hit the ground running when you use something like this. And they have everything set up, like there is a CI, there are the pre-commit hooks, everything is set up for you. So yeah, can recommend it.
So let's say I got one of these from you, and I adjusted it to work with, I don't know, like Yesod, for example, instead of Servant.
Yeah.
Would you want that back? Like, if I actually made the template work the way, I don't know, the same thing just with Yesod, what if I gave that back to you? Would that be helpful?
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm planning to make one with Yesod for a web server. So this is for an API server, right? But if you want, I'm planning to make one for a web server as well. But if you just want to say there is a template that I want, but it's not there, you can click here.
Oh, just request. Sure.
And then you can tell me what you need. And I'll probably make one of those. So I have 2 more templates in mind in the latest blog post on my blog. There's actually, I have 2 more in mind. One is a web server, so that's Yesod. And then the other one is an everything an everything project.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yep. this is a story, by the way, of what happened and in what order, etc. And when you buy one of these, so they're not open source, so you can look at the source to evaluate whether you want to buy any, but that's all you can do with it basically. And then when you buy it, it's yours, so you can do whatever you want except just putting the template online.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, I think there was some questions about that in the Discord, but I don't know the. I think you answered them, but I don't remember what happened.
I didn't see those.
Maybe it was in there. I don't remember where it was. But I think you addressed them, so it's not an issue.
Okay. Yeah, I got some nasty comments on Reddit about it actually. Not on this one, but on the previous one. So this case, it was quite nice, but there was one really nasty comment at some point, which was basically, "How dare you charge for code?" Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing a lot of heavy lifting, right? Like that's, I don't know. There's always going to be people like that, so it's not a big deal.
Here, check it out.
There's nothing you can do about.
If you're gonna charge developers for code, the bar is higher than this, and like real nasty. And I tried to be nice when responding to it, but yeah, it wasn't so easy.
Reddit is not the best place for not getting comments like this.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're gonna get those no matter what.
Yep. Especially the Haskell Reddit, it seems very circle jerky and not at all. It's like a lot of the problems in Haskell come from there not being enough money in Haskell, and then when people try to make money off Haskell, they're mad about it. So that doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm making boatloads of money either. So
you could have also said, look, instead of giving you an actual template which you can use and modify to your own needs, you could have just said, oh, look, I'll make this a consulting service and do it for you, which is more work for you. It would cost more money, and people might get less value out of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because they're really cheap, right? If I spent on the cheapest one, which is OpParse, I spent multiple hours. So I would have sold this to a consulting client for about 1,000 francs, which means that I need about do I say that? Or? Yeah, 200 customers for that to make sense for me, economically speaking.
Yep. And I guess it would. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's not worth it. So for someone to pay you to do this every time, it makes more sense to buy the template.
Yep. And look here, if you make a consulting amount, so that's somewhere between here and here, you're saving boatloads of money by buying something like this.
Yeah.
Even if this was 2 hours, right? That's still a boatload of money to save.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
All
right, I'm done here. So thank you very much for joining me. If you have any more of these projects, I'd be very happy to do some pair programming with you.
Yeah. So I think this month probably won't make sense, but next month I'll probably start having. Maybe not next month. I don't know. At some point in the future, I do want to do more OSS type work.
Yeah.
So, that will happen on stream eventually. It's just when. Starting the new job at the end of the month has made me a little, I really want to focus on that and make sure I get, my ducks in a row, if it were, as it were, to do well at that job. And then I think once I'm past that, I would like to get back to doing OSS and also various things related to your projects, because the self-management stuff will become more important as I go through that job too. So there's lots of ideas I'm sure I'll come up with.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could talk to your boss there about the self-management stuff, because you shouldn't be paying for it. It should be the companies that pay for it. And also, I'm looking around for opportunities as well in case you're looking for someone else.
Yes. So I think there is an issue with US for that particular job, because there was other people asking for Haskell positions, and Max was mentioning them. But I think that if you're outside the US, it's a problem.
I see. Okay.
Because somebody else had that issue as well. Or maybe it was you.
Could have been me.
I don't remember. Anyway, yeah.
All right. We can leave it here. I'll talk to you soon. Let me know how the self-management stuff goes, and then we can talk about that as well.
Great. See ya.
Cheers.